This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Kane's Wear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your Inter Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or intermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Kane's Wear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Welt Rheaume has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welt Rheaume, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welt Rheaume can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welt Rheaume can help. Call 954-966-4646.
I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Slomins Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Slomins Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Slomins Shield.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Alrighty. Good morning, boys and girls all across the world, wherever you're at, listening to us live, downloading the podcast, day, night, weekends, however it is you support the program. We love you for it. Coming to you live from Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines on a beautiful Friday. And it is a beautiful Friday because Bitcoin hit 27,000 this morning. It's down to 26,588. Boy, you remember the times when it was at 16.5 and they were all panicking? You know, you could have had it at 16.5 and now it's at 27. No, what do we have? Kenshawn, I remember too. Oh no, it's going down to 10,000. 8,000. He said 8,000. My favorite predictors were Kenshawn and Tremolio. Those are the two predictors that would never get it right because there's a lot of things you can never count on. And this is why I never really count on the technical analysis part, because the technical analysis wasn't going to tell you about banks when they were going to crumble. Like, that's the reason why I got into Bitcoin, because I expected banks to crumble. And because we can't go on the pace that we're at, and here we are. Banks are crumbling left and right because they're over leveraged. And boy, whew, and the last 36 hours, it was just playing with the 25. That was a resistance. It became a floor, is what it became. And it became support, not resistance. Now it's 27. This thing's about to pop to 30. I'm telling you. Oh man. December 31st, you could have gotten Bitcoin at 16,500. Yep. So I am, of course, in a fantastic mood as I'm watching the entire crypto market explode. The stock market is actually like way down. And that's again because of what's gone on with the banks, unfortunately, this morning. And that sucks, obviously, because I've got my own stuff in the stock market, and right now Dow Jones is down 139 points, S&P down 3 points, and the Nasdaq is barely up, like barely up, not even a tenth of a point, but barely up. So there we go. Ethereum's up over 1,700. Man, it is a good morning. It is. This is the way I like to get into the weekend with a little Bitcoin explosion. Yeah, baby. Well, by the way, it's the explosion that's just continued. So it's been like that since January 1st. Bitcoin has been on the rise, baby. Yeah. Let's see. Yves Jean Laurent. No, Yves Charles. Thank you, Yves. Appreciate the love on the super chat, my man. Good morning, from San Antonio, Texas. Fins up, baby. Love it. I see Steve Chapman was first in on a St. Patty's Day. And yes, Gesicki to New England. So, let me ask you something. Did somebody say yesterday that Gesicki won't make as much money as he made this year with the Miami Dolphins? Did somebody say that yesterday? Who said that, Sean? I did. Oh, okay. Did somebody say that Mike Gesicki was going to get a 1-year deal? Who said that yesterday, Sean? Exactly the way I told you. Exactly the way it played out yesterday, right? And some of you are like, oh, come on, man. 1-year deal. Oh, come on. He's going to get – no. It's actually the smart thing to do is sign a 1-year deal. I wish him the best. Look, Mike Gesicki is a great dude. I don't fear the Patriots at all because I've never feared Mac Jones. Okay? I've never feared Mac Jones, even when some of you idiots that got the whole Tua thing wrong, you're the same idiots that said Tua can't play and you thought Mac Jones was better. You're the same idiots. Okay? Because I know that's usually what came out of when you said Tua can't play, you said Mac Jones was the better quarterback. So you were wrong about that and Mac Jones. I don't fear Mac Jones. So I kind of feel like the good thing for Gesicki is that offense, they're going to throw to the tight end. Mac Jones is a conservative quarterback. He's not really aggressive. He is going to work the middle of the field a lot. So I think Mike Gesicki is going to get a lot of work. Good for him. But I don't fear the Patriots at all as a team. So that's not really what that they're not competition at all in this division. They're also Rams now in this division. So to me, that's neither here nor there. I'm happy for him. I hope he has a great season so he can get that multi-year deal from somebody else. But this is typical Patriots. They went in the bargain basement and they got a great deal with a tight end. They'll use him. And he hopefully has a terrific season. I wish him the best, but I don't fear the Patriots at all. I'm not worried. So if Mike Gesicki has 82 yards against the Dolphins and 2 touchdowns, that'll be fantastic. But the score is going to be 42-14. So it doesn't matter. Miami's going to win anyway. So I'm not worried about Gesicki beating the Dolphins. So if he gets a couple of yards on him and he scores a touchdown, God bless him. The Patriots overall are not a threat in this division. They're not a threat to the Dolphins. Tua owns Belichick. That's just the way it goes. So I'm not worried at all about any of that. It's about the Dolphins and the Bills. That's who I'm concerned about. The Jets will be tough because they got a nice defense. And obviously adding Aaron Rodgers is going to be good for them if they end up getting him. I'm still not sure that this trade it could go awry. Rodgers could retire in the middle of all of this. I mean, there's so many crazy things that could happen in this one, and how long will it last? I just think it's going to be a mess. And after all that, you're going to make the draft commitment and the cap commitment and all that, and I just don't think it's really going to pay off. So it's about the Bills and the Dolphins, and I believe the Dolphins will be the best team in this division this year. So I'm super happy for Mike Gesicki. He got himself $9 million. He got exactly what I thought he would get, was a one-year deal, a prove-it type deal because of what's happened to him the last couple of years. I told you guys this. If he was going to sign a multi-year deal somewhere else and they were going to lowball the shit out of him and he wasn't going to get his big money, and then that would stop him from getting a big contract. He needs to play a one-year contract, ball out, and then go ask for big money somewhere else. Because, the Patriots are, well, although the Patriots do pay tight ends. They do pay tight ends because they pay Jonnu Smith, they pay Hunter Henry, they pay the murderer, they pay Gronk. They pay their tight ends. They pay their tight ends. Huh? What was that?
You went to the right team to get paid.
Yeah.
I mean,
for that position. Yeah, for that position, that makes sense. So hopefully, he has a terrific season, but I have zero concerns about the Patriots. And any of you out there that are overreacting on it, you're just being silly, to be quite honest. So, let's see. Big O, Noah Omier is probably on injury report. Odds book. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, they have by 2 right now. The over and under is 146. I will watch that tonight. I haven't watched a lot of the tournament, to be quite honest. You know me. I'm not. This basketball doesn't do that much for me. I only watch because I support but it just doesn't do that much for
I will
me.
say one thing though, with the tournament the way it is, it's usually 116. I don't even pay attention to those games. There was, for the longest time, the 116 games are pretty good yesterday. They didn't, like,
of course
Houston,
they are.
Houston pulled it out at the end a little bit more and stretched out, but those games were in contention for the first time. I think this tournament, it's crazy.
We need to be in Vegas for this so I can get into it.
Yeah, no. I guess if you're sitting there live betting, this is
the
more
only
live. The live betting is the only
it.
way I would do this tournament going forward. Like yesterday, I know my bracket, and I only have 2 complete matchups from yesterday's game moving on to the next round.
Yeah,
everybody else was just busted.
Yeah, because it's really hard.
It's just
dude.
crazy.
It's really hard. It's very even college basketball now. There's no stars. There's no monster teams. Nothing like that. It's just, there's no sexiness in college basketball anymore. I'm telling you, the only way I really would enjoy it is if I've got some money and I'm constantly gambling. And I got to be like my dad was, rest in peace. I got to have some money on it so I can really, get into it. But if not, no big deal. Let's see. Is Gesicki going to haunt us now? I'm not. No.
Yes! Gonna kill us.
I knew that kind of silliness would be coming in.
10,000 yards.
Not worried about it at all. Market down, buying opportunity. Yes. Oh, on the stock side, yes. I would agree. Rosendo, bank runs, bank failures. Sound familiar? Chicken in every pot. Yep. Good morning, Big O. Went to see my daughter and granddaughter, came back sick. So finally back watching live. Finn's making great moves. Keep it up, Greer. Finn's up. Yes, sir. And get a little Nature B, bro. Get some Nature B. Protect yourself. GP Trap, no, you the man. I had your hat on, you GP Trap, yesterday. I don't know if you watched, because I don't think I saw you on the chat board. Was he? No, right? I didn't see him yesterday. So GP Trap, if you watched the show yesterday, I had your beautiful hat on. That thing was sweet, bro. Sweet. I just washed my hair, so I don't want to have a hat head. On the second day, I don't mind wearing. When you see me wear a hat, well, sometimes I'll wear a hat because I'm going to do something, and even though I wash my hair. But, yeah, no hat head for me today. But I did wear it yesterday. Okay? And you are the man. Thank you for the hat. That's a sweet. I'll be wearing it tomorrow night while I'm watching Inter Miami. Yeah. Although, do they play? No, they would play every other day, right? The tournament, right? It's every other day. So I don't have to worry about it till Sunday for the Canes if they advance. Big O, what do you think of Braxton Berrios? Did you watch yesterday? It's there. Love the signing. I'll give you a quick one there. Love the signing. Let's see. AVG. Well, AVG is now visiting the Raiders after he left the Pats. He left the Pats with no contract. What else? I guess Miami's getting a third round. You know what, John? I'm not exactly sure. I the formula. I can't explain it, my brother. I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being a fourth or fifth rounder next year because it wasn't a multi-year deal. It's only a 1-year deal. So yeah, I'm not sure, my man. I'm not sure. I'd be lying to you if I told you, oh yeah, it'll be a third round pick because that's where they drafted him. There's this whole thing to the formula on what you get, where you were drafted. There's a couple of things, and so it's a screwed up formula. I'm not exactly sure, but Miami will get a compensatory pick for Mike Gesicki, and it'll be a third, a fourth, or a fifth. That I don't think it'll get to 6 or 7, but I think it'll be third through fifth. They may not even get the worthy of. Well, they're not going to get because he's a second round pick, right? If I remember correctly. Yeah, so I don't even think it'll, but I don't think it'll go that low. But I think it'll be somewhere in the third, fourth, or fifth because of other things going on. Gesicki is such a good guy, an awesome attitude, and plays the game. Loves like a happy kid, and I'd coach guys like that all damn day over high end divas. I agree. Gesicki is a pro's pro, dude. Totally agree with you. Magic Mark is in. Thank you, sir. King Short is in. My intentions is to sign with the Jets. Well, that's his intentions until he gets traded. That's why he has to say it that way. So let's see. Good morning. Oh, went to the fair last night and tried the new Cuban sandwich on a funnel cake, and it's very small and it sucks. Didn't like it. But the elephant ears are the best. Wow, unbelievable. Yes, they are, aren't they? I love elephant ears. Okay. We need to see Sean's new style. Well, you'll see it if he goes on the camera or the Squared Circle Digest, baby. What's that? You can show it. Show it. It's up to you, bro. I'm not. It's not up to me to do that. You do it if you want to do it. If you want to show off, there you go. There's the shine. There's the shine. That's it. You got your shine. Okay. Big O, I lost $100 already betting on yesterday's college games. You should have put it in Bitcoin and you would have made money already, bro. If you put it in Bitcoin last night or yesterday, it's at 24,800. Now it's at 27,000. You would have already made some money. Put it in Bitcoin, Devin. Big O, originally I thought he might end up with the Giants. Didn't expect the Patriots necessarily, but either way, I think he wanted to stay in the East Coast, specifically Northeast. Well, he went to Penn State. So, yeah, I'm with you there. GP Trap says was traveling, but I'll check the replay. There you go, my man. Thank you. Very nice hat. Very nice hat. Let's see. As a Canes fan, it feels nice to have Barrios on the Dolphins. It's nice to have a good player. To me, if he's a Kane, that's fantastic, but, it's not. To me, he's a good player, and he's a good returner, and they needed that badly. So, let's see. Oh, that's right, King Short. That's a good point. That's the other part of the equation. I doubt we get any comp because of who we signed. You are correct. It depends on how active you are and what you lose. You are correct on that. You are correct. It might hurt. Yeah. Or it may become only a 6th or 7th round compensatory pick because of that. You are right. I forgot about that. It's a weird, what's that called? Not an algorithm. It's just a weird, I forgot the word I want to use, but it's just kind of odd, man. Let's see. Barry Jackson reports Finns are interested in right tackle George Fant. Thoughts? Depth and a guy that can battle for the spot. That's all. Not really anything that's, that's not going to be a big signing or anything along those lines. I'll tell you what, a lot of my buddies are not hopeful about this team because of the O-line. I get that. I completely understand that. I mean, they only got to the playoffs last year with it all injured. Yeah, no, there's no chance it could be better. There's no chance that Austin Jackson could end up playing better and Liam Eichenberg could end up becoming a decent player. Last year, they both were injured, so people have given up on them. So, huh? Formula. There it is. Formula is the word. It's a effed up formula that I can't figure out. Magic Mark says, Big O, I just joined the channel. Don't know if you already talked about it, but what do you think of Gardner Minshew signing? Gardner Minshew, I have not talked about it. And, Gardner was one of those guys that I liked. And yesterday, you remember we saw that he signed with the Colts and we talked about $3.5 million, right? With incentives, it's only $5.5 million. That's it. Now, here's the trick to all of this, okay? Mike White only has $4.2 million of his $8 million guaranteed in 2 years. The rest is incentive laden. But I know what some of you are going to say. The problem is, what happens if Tua stays healthy and you don't play? So if you're Mike White, it doesn't matter because you're the backup and you're just going to get paid a couple $1 million and you're good. But if you're Gardner Minshew, you actually still want to prove that you can be a starter in this league. So coming here, you were hoping that Tua would miss a couple games like he has for the last couple of years. But what about if the psycho actually does what he's supposed to do, which I think he will actually. I think Tua will take care of himself. But let's just say he does. And you don't get to showcase your skills. And so then you just make the 3.5 if you're Gardner Minshew. You see what I'm saying? So he went to the Colts, somewhere where he's going to compete for the job, possibly play a lot, meet those incentives. And remember, it's only a 1-year deal. So he's doing the same thing as Mike Gesicki. He's kind of trapped in the middle because Gardner Minshew is good enough to be quarterback number 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32 in the NFL. Because those quarterbacks 25 through 32 are not very good in the NFL. They're pretty mediocre. Let's be honest now. Those are mediocre. Those are guys normally that should be backups because there aren't 32 good ones in the NFL. So Gardner's good enough to be one of those kind of quarterbacks, right? Remember what I told you the other day. If you have Dalton or Minshew as your starter, then you screwed up, right? You're not good enough. Now, if you have them as your backups, then you're excellent. That's what they're supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? But Gardner has an opportunity to actually play, and he wants to play. There's no guarantees here that he'll play. So that to me is just in case for those of you out there that are trying to decipher the Mike White thing and all that. And again, the guarantees for Mike White are not a lot. He only has, $4.2 million guaranteed for 2 years. The rest is all incentives. He's going to have to play in order to meet it and all that other stuff. So it's not really a big contract. They went kind of cheap on that contract. But to me, that's the Minshew deal. And so when you look at it, I want you to look at the big picture of it all. You know how a lot of times when I tell you on crypto, remember how I always tell crypto, let's look at the macro, not the micro. Like, well, a lot of people are stuck in what's happened the last day or week or whatever. And then I tell you, no, look at what's happened the last 6 months or a year or 2 years. And then you can see what the real trajectory is. Don't live in the moment because the moment doesn't give you the whole picture. Don't live on just the contract. Look at the whole picture on the Minshew thing. And that's what goes on. It's kind of like what I told you with Gesicki. A lot of you were probably thinking, oh, multi-year deal, and he'll get, and I threw a whole bunch of cold water on a bunch of people yesterday and said, Mike Gesicki isn't getting a multi-year deal. He's not getting big-time money. He's going to make less than he made this year. And a lot of you were like, you're crazy. And there it is. $9 million. Made less than the $11 million last year. And I told you that it was going to be a 1-year deal. Because if he signs a multi-year deal, he's going to get underpaid for multi-years. and he'll never see that big contract. He has to play on a 1-year deal. He has to kick ass so he can then get the big 4-year contract. And Minshew's trying to do the same thing. And the Colts is a better platform for him to do it. Even though Miami has the better talent, there's no guarantee that he'll play. You know, his luck, he and his agents say, well, hey, Tua gets injured all the time, dude. You're going to be able to play 2, 3, 4, 5 games because Tua's always going to get injured. And then you sign, and guess what happens? Tua doesn't get injured, plays the whole year, and you're Gardner Minshew, and you wasted a season trying to prove yourself again. So Mike White is in a different position where Gardner Minshew is. Gardner Minshew's in a spot where he could actually be a starter in this league. You know, a bad starter, but he can be a starter. So that's kind of, you know, what's big picture and all of that. Were you going to say something, sir?
I was going to say, Minshew doesn't come here on that deal, right? He wants more money because he knows
because he's not going to play.
He's not going to play, so he's going to ask for
6, 7.
Yeah, just to sit there, and then if he does get the opportunity, take advantage of it.
Right.
But you're not taking a $3 million incentive-based contract because you're not probably going to reach those incentives.
Right.
With the Colts,
and
you're not to play,
and you're not going to get playing,
and you make more. Yeah,
right.
That's
so even if you don't reach a ton of incentives, you're still going to play, and that's an incentive for you to build on your career. And that's kind of what he wants to do, you know? So there you go. Brian Walters, Florida Panthers, scored a TD in last night's first period. I know, man. They won 9-5. You thought it was a mistake there? That they played
I heard a score. I was driving home, and I flipped on, and I heard Plagans, you know, the play-by-play voice, and he goes, I forget what he says, 7-3 as we end the first period. And I'm like, I went to the app to double check to make sure I heard.
You probably thought it was shots in the period.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Maybe he looked up. I know he doesn't make those mistakes, but I was just still like 7-3 first period because actually no, it wasn't even the end of the first period. There were still a few minutes left, I believe.
Yes.
And I was like, what? And I went and I looked. I checked the app. And I'm like, okay, all right. And then, of course, I turned it on, and then they never scored. I mean, you know, two
more goals, yeah. Verhaeghe, bro. And he was the guy that played with some balls last year in the playoffs. He was the guy in the playoffs last year. He was the guy that played like a star last year in the playoffs. Okay? And he's had one monster year this year, man. And let me throw something out there now. Because, you know, my mind goes to places that others don't, and sometimes we see things that others don't, and sometimes we're completely off. That seems to happen a lot. Anyway, so let me ask you something. Is there a chance, Sean Stanley, is there a chance that we got the Panthers wrong, but the Heat right? What I've been, you know, most of us have been saying, oh, Panthers, Heat, they're not going to last in these playoffs. Even if they make it, Panthers will barely make it. If they make it, if they can make it, Heat playing game, this, that. And the Heat, by the way, they've won a few games lately, okay? Still don't really believe in them, you know what I'm saying? I know they've scored some points lately, but that's streakiness, and that's in basketball. But the Panthers were not healthy all year long. The Panthers are healthy now. Duclair, everybody's back. Ekblad, everybody is healthy. Everybody is playing now. Did we get it wrong? Was it maybe Paul Maurice's system it takes a little time, and then you also, it required for you to be healthy too, that you weren't healthy. You were constantly missing guys all year long. Now the Panthers are as healthy as they've ever been all season. And they've won 4 of 5, I believe. Let me see. I wrote it down. They won 4 of 5. Could it be? I mean, Kachuk, a goal, 3 assists last night. Barkov, 2 assists. Verhaeghe and Ekblad, 2 goals each last night. I'm just saying, maybe we jumped the gun a little bit too much on the Panthers. Maybe the Panthers are, and you know how hockey is. This ain't the NBA. that if you're the 8th seed, you're 8th or 7th seed, you're not being the 1 or 2 seed. I mean, it just rarely ever happens. Was it like Dikembe Mutombo the last time, the Nuggets back then when he was lying on the floor with a big old smile on his face and all? It was a great camera shot of him doing that. I don't know. It was a long time ago, but maybe that was the last time an 8 beat a 1 or whatever. The Knicks also were an 8 and they beat a 1 too, if I remember correctly. The Van Gundy team. But in hockey, it happens all the time, baby. It happens all the time. And speaking of those Knicks were injured that year. Those Knicks got healthy at the end of the year, and they became that team you did not want to play because you knew they were better than what they really were throughout the regular season because they were unhealthy. Then they got healthy, and they made that run. Could the Panthers be that team now that they're healthy? Now that they've been almost the whole season now under Paul Maurice's system. They've won 4 of 5, and they're winning games, and they are like decisively winning games. You know, they're playing really well right now. So is it real? Is it Memorex? I'm dating myself. Could it be possibly that we maybe didn't give the Panthers a break here on this one, but the Heat, we got it right? And that's what I'm feeling right now. I'm kind of feeling like, you know what? The Panthers might be able to surprise somebody out there. Because if this team can play a little better defense, and you know what happens when you get a hot goaltender, and if Bob can get hot for just for a stretch here, for a few weeks in the playoffs, you just never know. Anything can happen. So I'm wondering, for all of you that are out there, and if you follow the Panthers and the Heat, any chance, do you not believe in either one? Or have the Panthers convinced you a little bit more, or have the Heat convinced you a little bit more that maybe they can do something in the playoffs? You tell me.
This stretch right here for the Panthers will tell me, because now they're no longer chasing teams. They have a game in hand on some of the playoff teams because they had the 4 days off.
Right.
So teams caught back up. Now we're in that position as Panthers fans. We have that game in hand.
Right.
Are they the same old Panthers? Or
we're going to find out.
We're going to find out.
We're going to find out.
And man, it was exciting last night.
What I'm watching in the last couple games, I'm watching this is not the team that I was watching throughout the year. So I'm wondering about that, you know?
I will tell you this, though. Bob's got me shook a little bit.
Well, he hasn't ever played like he's supposed to play.
No, he hasn't, and that's the thing. Like, now we expect that to change and him to go on a streak.
Yeah, that's the only.
And there's really no backup anymore, right?
No. There's no backup. There's no backup. There's no backup at all. There's nobody you can really trust and say, okay, yeah, that we're going with that guy. Big O, who blinks first, Jets or Packers? Jets for sure. Jets will blink first. They have no choice. They have to do it. They have to do it. How many games out are the Cats? Can you look it up? I want to say they're right, either a half a game or a game. Not half a game, a game, like 1 point or 2. I think they're right there. I want to say, huh? It's 2 points. Yeah, it's like I want to say it's 1 or 2 points out of the 8th playoff spot. They're right there, dude. Right there. ESPN reporting ex-Pro Bowl punter Jake Bailey is visiting the Finns. Oh, punter wasn't a problem last year. That's not a big deal. That doesn't get me excited. You tell me a kicker, okay, but I'm fine with our punter, unless you're going to get him cheaper. I guess that's the only reason why they would bring him in, that they're going to save money or something. If you can cut the other guy and not take a cap hit and then sign the other guy for less money and you save yourself $500,000 or $1 million or something, I get it. I totally get it. But outside of that, punter wasn't a problem, dude. What is
3 points out?
Oh, 3 still. Wow, I thought it was 1 or 2.
But 3 points from both. Pittsburgh's at 78 and the Islanders are at 78.
Oh, at 7 and 8 spots, you're saying?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
So,
all right.
So either one are there.
So they've closed the gap between 7 and 8, the 7th spot too, along with the 8th. Okay, I like that. I like it. They got a shot, man. And how many games have they played?
They played 68. The Islanders have
Plenty.
played 70, and Pittsburgh's played 68.
Yeah, plenty of time.
So
There's
they got
plenty of
2 games
left.
in hand on the Islanders.
Yeah, you've got 68. You said you got 14 games left, bro. You got plenty of games to sneak in there. Brett says, Big O, if Panthers make playoffs and finish 4th, they get Boston in the first round. Nothing is easy. Isn't Morstead under contract? Yeah, Morstead is under contract. That's why it doesn't do anything for me unless you're saving money outside of, unless we don't know something about Morstead that happened in the offseason. I'm not. What's that again?
He posted himself in the gym looking bigger than half the team.
Okay, so yeah, no. Then yeah, I have no idea. Punter wasn't a problem. Our current punter is a free agent, is he? Look it up. I'm not even sure. I thought he was under contract. I thought he signed a multi-year deal. Oh, Carlos is also saying he's not under contract. Oh, I didn't even realize that the punter wasn't under contract. Wow. So then that tells me Morstead wanted more money, and the Dolphins weren't willing to do it, and then they're bringing in the Bailey guy again to save money. He's free agent? Okay. I had no idea that he was a free agent. I thought he was under contract. I thought it was one of those Chris Greer 2-year specials. Samuel says the punter retired. He did? Holy shit. Wow, I'm completely lost in the punter news. Shows you how much I'm keeping up with punter news. So he was working out, but he's retired? Wow. Oh, he's thinking about retirement? All right. Well, you guys are keeping up with the punter and everything here. I am. I got to say, I dropped the ball on the punter. No Christian Wilkins extension news. Not yet. I don't think there's a hurry for that. I think they can wait till later on in the offseason. They could probably do it in June when they get the extra money from Byron Jones, when they cut him and they get the $13 million. Something tells me that might be when the Christian Wilkins contract comes. So I think that might be the deal there. Morstead didn't retire. He was thinking about it. He says he'd like to come back to the Dolphins. All right, so obviously they're comparing money now between Morstead and Bailey. They know what Morstead wants, so now they're going to find out what Bailey wants, and then that's it. That's what's happening. They're playing one against the other. But I have no problem bringing Morstead back, dude. He did an excellent job. He was fantastic last year. Does the Berrios signing make you wonder about Eric Azukama? No, not at all, sir, because he's not a returner. You didn't draft Eric Azukama to be a returner. You drafted him to be a receiver. What I think is Eric Azukama is going to be competing for the slot spot is what I think is going to happen. He might back up Tyreek or Waddle, but I think he'll compete for that slot. I think that's what's going to happen. Remember, he can also run the ball, so he brings a couple of different dynamics to the team. Berrios is going to be a pure returner, and he'll be like your last receiver, and maybe you'll use him in a 4 or 5 receiver set or something. Maybe he gets some time in the slot if he plays well. But I don't think I think he's going to be pretty low on the totem pole as a wide receiver. I think Berrios will be mostly a returner, if anything. Let's see. What else do you think? What do you think we should do with Jason Sanders? Nothing. Bringing competition. He's under contract. He played well right at the end of the year, the last couple games. Hit a big field goal in that playoff game against the Bills. Maybe he's turning things around, and maybe he's getting out of his funk. But the last month of the season, he was kicking pretty well. He actually got out of his funk. So I would just bring in competition, somebody from somebody that's undrafted, or in the 6th or 7th round, you draft a punter, because you do have a 6th or 7th round pick. So why not, go in that direction and do that? Let me see what we got going on here, by the way. So Bitcoin's at 26,601. Soon it'll be over 27. Soon, my friends. Soon. Okay? Very soon. We are out here at Craig Zinn's Acura Pembroke Pines, folks, and they've got a fleet of certified pre-owned vehicles. They've got a lot and a selection of brand new vehicles. So come on out here and check it out for yourself at 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. And, of course, our service center is second to none. Mike Chan and Jordan Ferber, they do a great job, man. So if you own an Acura, come on out here and get it serviced, or if you lease one, or if you're looking to buy one, tell them that Big O sent you, or lease one. They will take care of you out here, man, at Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines.
Couple NFL news notes.
Yes.
The Jets have made a signing.
Who?
Alan Lazard.
Okay.
Is going to the Jets, and then also former Falcons QB Marcus Mariota.
Oh, yeah, Falcons.
Reached an agreement with the Eagles on a 1-year, $5 million deal worth up to $8 million. And
man, that guy steals money. Marcus Mariota, my God, that guy sucks. Oh my God, he is terrible, dude. Terrible.
And the Bengals offensive tackle Jonah Williams has requested a trade since they signed Orlando Brown.
Okay. All right. King Short, I think they will try to trade Cedric. I think it's going to happen in the draft. Yeah, I think, and maybe Dallas, because they said that, there's been reports that they regret letting him go. So Miami maybe can get a 6th or 7th round pick. They're not going to get much because it's a salary dump. But yeah, something along those lines. I think they'll try. Okay. J-Town says, I should have invested more in Bitcoin instead of NCAA brackets. One is guaranteed. The other one is not.
And also,
and I'm not a financial advisor. Just a guy who loves crypto, but I see Bitcoin as a guarantee, brother. I think it's going to skyrocket and pay off for anybody that invests in it. Yes, sir.
I missed one. Former Steelers linebacker Devin Bush.
Oh, yeah.
1-year, $4 million deal with the Seahawks.
Yeah. Devin Bush, man. Good player. And that's a cheap deal for him. Really cheap deal. Are you a bigger fan of the Dolphins or the Heat? Daniel, I love all the teams, bro. But football's my number one sport. So it's not a loving the Dolphins over the Heat more or anything like that. It's just I love football more than any other sport. So that's it's nothing against the Heat. The Heat is, they're the best organization in town, dude. Pat Riley's been a god here. Mickey Harrison's been awesome. So we can't take, they are the best franchise in town by miles and miles and miles. No one is even close to the Miami Heat. No one. But I love Inter Miami. I love the Florida Panthers. I love the Canes. I love the Marlins. As much as they hate us, I love the Marlins. As much as the Marlins abuse us, I love the Marlins. But football's my sport. It's always been my number one sport since I was a kid. Once I turned like 10, it became football. It was baseball early on, and then it became football, and it's been football ever since. So yeah. So out of just, my calling, my heart, football is my number one sport. So yeah. Morning Big O from the Bahamas. Need a Bitcoin to buy new to the game, or I'm sorry, did you just buy Bitcoin or are you getting into Bitcoin? Feliz Viernes, says Brett Campbell. Big O. I still want Wagner. Long has been injured a lot in the past couple years. Stack up the position. Give him L. David-like contract. I don't know what he wants. But the older guys are still, they still haven't signed, man. Wagner and Levante David hasn't signed either, right? If I'm correct. So I think that those guys are not going to, get big deals. Bitcoin will continue to rise, says Scott. You are correct, sir. John Dew says, football can ruin my day like nothing else. Oh, no, he went back to the Bucs. He went back to the Bucs? Okay. All right. I guess he didn't find any, any kind of big catch out there. Big O, what do you think is going to happen to Emmanuel Ogbah? Nothing. He'll be here. He'll play one more year here, and then they can part ways. They're kind of stuck with him because of the contract. So they got to hang in there one more year with him. They can't even trade him, I believe, because the cap hit would be brutal. TV turds are doing a top QB list. Tua doesn't even crack the top 10 in the AFC. So much disrespect. Praying he stays upright and balls out. Shut up these talking heads. Well, you have no credibility if he's not in your top 5 in the NFL. Forget the AFC. Let's see, what else do we have? Basketball's in South Florida pastime like baseball used to be. We love our basketball down here. Big O, have they announced mini camps? No, sir. Big O, did you play football when you were younger? Tight end, safety, and played a little bit at Hialeah, but I never really got to the football team itself because I just started practice, and then I gave up and said, yeah, no, I want to go hang out and hit the beach and skip and do all kinds of things. So I decided not to play. So, yeah. No. Didn't want to commit to it. I was a party guy in school. I wasn't really committed to any books. I wasn't committed to getting good grades. I did whatever I could to just get by. I was the student that did enough to get a passing grade. I could get higher grade if I wanted to, but I never really, after elementary, I never gave a shit about school. Be quite honest. I just kind of did enough to get by. I got my C or whatever. I didn't want to get a D, so I didn't want to hear shit from my dad and my mom. So I would just try to strive for a C. Now in music and in PE, I would always get an A. Interesting. But the other stuff, I would strive for a C, pretty much. English, I did all right, actually. I actually enjoyed English and history. Hated math. Oh, my God, I freaking hated math. I was so glad in my day, I didn't take math my senior year. Math was only required through my junior year back in the day. And I remember I took business math / pre-algebra. That was the last math class I took. And I hated algebra. Once you got letters involved, oh my God, I wanted no part of it. So yeah, I was guilty of being a party guy. So yeah. Big O, with the 3 quarterbacks that we have now on our roster, do you see us possibly drafting Hooker in the 2nd or 3rd? I don't know, man. That's a great question. It's a great question. I would. If Hendon Hooker's there. The problem is I also want Tucker Kraft, my tight end. And I want him, I don't think he'll last to the 3rd round. I think you have to take him at 51 or you're not getting him at, 71 or something like that? The next pick. I think we traded the 77th pick. I'm not sure now. But the pick in the 3rd round, I don't think my man lasts to then. Oh, from Cali. Don't know anything of Bitcoin, but I have $100 in Bitcoin for a year now. How much have I made? I don't know, dude. I don't know where you bought it at. Don't you know? Look at it where it's at, my brother. I don't know where you bought it at. Did you buy it at 50,000? Did you buy it at 40,000? Then you're not making any money yet. It'll get back there eventually and past that. But did you buy it at 20,000? I don't know where you bought your Bitcoin at. You know what I'm saying? Yes.
So it looks like the Dolphins now have pick 51, pick 84, pick 178, and pick 240.
All right, so it won't last 84. There's no way Tucker Kraft is lasting 84. You got to take him at 51. Carlos, I had a really big argument with a fellow Dolphin friend. He said McDaniel had to do whatever it takes to keep Gesicki and make him fit in the offense. I said, he's crazy. Am I wrong? Your friend doesn't know shit about football. And he obviously didn't see what happened. Mike McDaniel doesn't want Mike Gesicki around. He wants nothing to do with Mike Gesicki. And the only part that your friend has a little bit of a point, and it was for last year, not this year, because it would be ignorant for this year. That's where your friend is completely lost. But McDaniel did have to do whatever it takes last year to make him fit. That's what a good coach does. And that's where he dropped the ball. Because at the end of the year, he started using Gesicki, and all he did was make plays for you. Scoring, getting first downs, because that's all Mike Gesicki does is make plays. So your friend is right in the concept of McDaniel did a shitty job last year of knowing that he didn't have a better offensive weapon at that position. So if this is my best offensive weapon, let me use him somehow. Let me alter my offense to accommodate Mike Gesicki. That's what a good coach does. And there were certain things about Mike McDaniel, and I talked about him last year. That was one of them. The not sticking with the running game was another. His challenges, couldn't get plays in on time. Mike McDaniel needs to work on a lot of shit on game day. Okay? He needs to tweak a lot to become a really good coach on game day. He is not a really good coach on game day. He's a great offensive mind. His play design is freaking out of this world. But as a game day coach, he still has some stuff that needs to be worked on. And the way he mishandled Gesicki is embarrassing. Shula couldn't use Jim Jensen as a quarterback, so he figured out how to use him as a halfback, fullback, tight end. That's a bad mother effer right there. I'm talking about Don Shula. Oh, shit, I don't have a quarterback, but I'll work with Woodstock. What kind of shit is that, dude? Who does that? Only, like, the greatest coach of all time does that. I'll win with Greasy and a running game, and he doesn't have to throw too much. I'll win with Woodstock, one guy that can pass, one guy that's more of a runner. I'll win with Marino, who's a guy that's all pass, and is one of the most dynamic arms in the history of the game. 3 completely different offenses. And to me, that's where Mike McDaniel showed me that, this is obvious. He's no freaking Shula. He's no Eric Spoelstra. Eric Spoelstra works with whatever you give him. You give him that shit Whiteside and all those bums, and he goes 31-10 and almost makes the playoffs. Bosch, blood clot, in, out, whatever. He's working with it. He's working with the big 3. He's working with these guys now. The guy works with all kinds of teams, all kinds of offenses, and he adjusts. And Mike McDaniel did a shitty job of adjusting to what he had last year. Sometimes you get into the kitchen and you don't have exactly the ingredients you need. But if you are a chef, if you do know how to cook, you're going to find a way to make a marvelous meal either way. And Mike McDaniel struggled at times in the kitchen to finish the meal off. And whether it was playing Braylon Sanders in a position that he wasn't ready for, and he, gave up a touchdown in the Bills game. or whether it's not sticking to the run when you're supposed to, and you're gouging the Bills for 7 yards a carry or the Packers for 9 yards a carry. There's shit that went on all year long, and I pointed it out throughout the year. There are things that Mike McDaniel has to fix. So in theory, your friend was right, but for last year, not this year. And because your coach requires a dual tight end to start for him, somebody that blocks and somebody that receives, and he's not going to treat you the right way if you don't do that, why would you bring back Gesicki? That would be stupid. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So your friend can't read what happened in front of him. Not very bright. Okay? That's all I can tell you. To an extent, he's right about Mike McDaniel, that he did a terrible job of leaving a weapon out on the sideline and not using it. By the way, there's a good chance your friend that you were, arguing with, I'm just telling you, there's a good chance, all right, he's one of those listeners to Fox that believes all the lies. I'm just saying, good chance. It's probably one of those guys. Let's see. You didn't say that about Boyer all year. You kept giving excuses about players that's been gone since week 4, first half of the season. Come on now. Say what did I say about Boyer, bro? Boyer did a fine job here. I keep saying the same thing I said the entire time. Boyer did a fine job here. He kept them in the game every single week. Not one game was the defense blown out and then the offense couldn't catch up. There wasn't one game. Not one. In 17 games, there was not one game that the defense just, no way, can't do anything. Baltimore, they lost the lead, and then the defense shut them down. Offense came back and won it. And Detroit, they had the bad first half, and then they shut them down the second half, and they came back and won it. Outside of that, there was no other games that they got blown out. None. Defense kept them all in there. So I don't know what you want me to say, Centra, but, I'm sticking to the same thing I said all year, and it cannot be argued. At no time did the defense cost you a game. The offense cost you the game every single time. And Mike McDaniel had a lot to do with that. He's got to get better as a game day coach. Experience is the great teacher, even for McD. Hope he adapts. He'll adapt because he's a smart guy. To be fair, Boyer dealt with... I don't care about the Boyer stuff. Boyer's the same. All that stuff is the same. You have to change him if you can get Fangio. Big O, are you a Mammoth VH fan? Yes, I am. Yeah, I do like Mammoth. I'll be seeing Mammoth in August. I'll be seeing them open up for Metallica in Montreal. On a scale 1 to 10, Brett Campbell is asking, how concerned are you about running it back with the same O-line? I still have hope for AJ, but have to figure out Tua's blind side. Well, what about if they bring back Brandon Shell? He did a good job at right tackle. I want to bring him back, personally. I'm not going to worry about the O-line because I'm going to trust these guys. They know their stuff. They must see something in these guys. So last year, the injuries derailed both those gentlemen. And that's the part that sucked. By the way, Cutter's Edge Pro, these people are absolutely amazing. Will, Mike, Dade, Broward, Palm Beach counties, folks. I've shown you my backyard. Do we have the other one ready? Okay. So we got this other video that we're going to put, that we put together. You got to check it out, man. And my backyard is now just, it's fun to hang out. I hang out this weekend. I'm sure I'll be hanging out with the wife in the backyard and the dogs playing, and the artificial turf is the greatest invention of all time. The easiest thing to maintain. Okay, you're never watering it, you're never cutting the grass, so you're saving hundreds and thousands in the long run. So eventually it pays off for itself. It's a beautiful thing, man. And let me tell you something, the dogs love it. It is I have 4 dogs, and they are constantly running around and playing, and it's easy to maintain, and it always looks phenomenal. Every time somebody comes over and they see the backyard and they see the artificial turf, they freak out. They go, wow, that looks awesome, because it looks like real grass, because it has like a real grass look. You know, when you see it, you watch our videos, and you'll see it eventually here on the show, the video that we play. And I'm telling you, man, go call them, because they know how to make a difference in a big time way. 954-472-0622. Landscape design, outdoor lighting, irrigation design, synthetic turf. Then they have the lighting where you can change it up constantly, not just the regular white lights, but you can change it up, put it pink one day, purple another, blue the other day, Dolphins colors, multiple colors, Kane's. You know, they win on Saturday night. You want to put the house on Kane's colors, and go ahead, Inter Miami wins. You want to put up some pink there, man, go for it. Cutter's Edge Pro. Go to the Instagram page. You're going to see so much of their work there. And if you see one that has a putting green on the side of the house, that's my backyard there. You can get your own putting green too, man. How about that? You get the artificial turf, you get a little putting green, and the putting green is awesome. When friends come over, you're BSing, having drinks, working on the short game. Probably tonight, me and the wife will go out to the backyard. Dogs will be running around, and we'll be playing a little golf and working on the short game, talking, having some fun, laughing, having some drinks. You know, that's kind of what it is. You know, streets aren't necessarily as safe as they've been in the past, right? So what you want to do nowadays is create your home a place where you want to actually hang out more. And you can call Cutter's Edge Pro, and they'll make your backyard that oasis that you'll want to hang out in all the time. Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties, 954-472-0622. Save it on that cell phone, 954-472-0622. Call William or Mike and tell them that Big O sent you, cuttersedgepro.com. All right. We got Panthers tomorrow night taking on the Devils. We've got the Heat tomorrow taking on the Bulls. And we've got Inter Miami tomorrow visiting Toronto. And we've got the Canes tonight at 7:25 taking on Drake. A lot of action in South Florida sports. Hour number 2 is next from Craig Zinn's Acura Pembroke Pines. Manny Navarro will join us. We go with the Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes report right here on the Big O Radio Show.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them.
With Slomins, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Kane's Wear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Kane's Wear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
Howdy, there he is, locked and loaded and ready to go. How you feeling, my man? You feeling good?
Doing great, man. Excited. I'll be on vacation starting next week. I'm taking the girls over to Universal Studios, and so haven't been there in, like, I don't know, man, 10, 15 years it feels like. Gonna ride some roller coasters, some new stuff that they got, and my girls are all excited, so it'll be a fun trip.
Okay, nice. Is it what, where they got the wine festival going on or something at Epcot? You're going to be sneaking over? Is that what's going on?
They got the Mardi Gras party in Universal, so I don't know. We'll get
there you go.
We'll have some entertainment for the adults, man, for sure.
Okay, all right, there you go. So you dump the kids somewhere and then you go party, right? Is that what you're doing?
That's what we do. We leave them with the older kids. That's what we do.
There we go.
Tell the older kids, give them some money and say, hey, go eat or something.
Dude, I remember when I was like, I would go to Disney with my mom, and I would take a buddy or something, and this is how the world is different. You're like 10 or 12, and then you're off on your own running around Disney World.
Yeah.
And then you would never do that nowadays. You would
can't
never allow your 10 or 12-year-old to go run around Disney World. And Disney World's pretty safe, but still, you would never do it nowadays. Whereas I remember as a 10 or 12-year-old running around Disney World with my buddies alone. No parents. Like the mothers just went off together and they went riding, and then the kids went off riding now, and whatever. They give you a couple bucks so you could go buy a Coke or ice cream or whatever, and then you'd hook up at whatever time, because there were no cell phones. There were no beepers.
Right.
There was nothing, bro. It was, okay, we're going to meet here at the Tomorrowland, whatever, at 4 p.m., okay? You got to be here, and, you got to be there at 4 p.m., whatever, and meet, that's the way it was. But I think about it nowadays, because I just tell you, you're going to just drop off the kids. Brother, you can't do any of that kind of stuff nowadays. It's crazy.
You can't, man. It's crazy. I took my daughter last weekend to a birthday party, and they rented a indoor swimming facility. And I remember the days your parents, they would drop me off at Hot Wheels or Rainbow Playhouse or something like that, and they would leave. And now you see all the parents are staying to watch their kids in the pool, and even they got lifeguards. They got all kinds of. It's a world you can't trust anymore.
Yeah, no, and you can't trust the kids too. On top of all
exactly.
that. They're actually a little bit more wild than even we were. You know what I mean? It was just, I don't know, if we got in trouble, it was mischievous stuff that was just, minor, nothing, But nowadays it's, some of this crazy stuff going on, man. All right, you gonna watch tonight against Drake?
Yeah, I'll watch. I got my fingers crossed for the Canes. They told us not to pick them, so I didn't. I'm not picking them to go very far with a banged up Norchad Omier. If he's unable to go or is severely hampered by that ankle, I would think that Miami's chances of advancing deep in this tournament are probably out the window. But
Duke killed them. Duke killed them without him. They had no answer for the two big guys, none whatsoever. Those guys did whatever the hell they wanted in that game.
Yeah, and fortunately for Miami, this Drake team, they're not one of those teams that necessarily plays that way, but
right,
down the road, Indiana, which could be the next opponent. Those are quality Big Ten caliber opponents that have size, that have really good guards, and they're going to be problematic. So I think, tonight, I hope Miami gets by because I don't want to see them get bounced in the first round, not after the season they had. But I just don't think it's in the cards this year because of the injury to Norchad.
Yeah, no, I know it sucks. And, you get these kind of injuries like the Heat a couple years ago. You're in the bubble and you're playing at such an incredible level and the chemistry with the team. And then here goes the Bam and Goran injuries, and it just derailed, that finals that we're going to sit here for the rest of our lives and say, what if Bam and Goran were healthy?
Yep.
Could they have beaten the Lakers? You know what I mean? And I know we're not thinking about winning the entire thing. We're just talking about Drake here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Without Amir. But it's just one of those that you just hate the timing. The last year, the Dolphins, last game of the regular season against the Jets, Brandon Shell goes down with the injury. And so you lose your right tackle as you go into the playoff game against the Bills. And it's like now you've got to shuffle things around for a playoff game. Your line was already injury riddled, and you found the guy middle of the season that was really doing a good job for you in Brandon Shell, and you lose him right before, the playoff game. I mean, timing sometimes is like the freaking worst, dude. And when Amir went down, you were like, oh, this is just, they can't replace him.
Yep.
That's the problem.
Health and depth, man. Those are the two things that ultimately separate teams in the playoffs in any sport, You have somebody go down, it just totally screws your whole thing. And if you're not a really deep program, that's why people always say oh man, this 12-team playoff, it's going to be great, right? You're going to have all these other teams now that have a chance to win. What do you think is going to happen when TCU tries to go on a run now? Now they don't just have to win 2 games to win a national championship, beating Michigan and Georgia back to back, but they'd have to beat 3 or 4 of those teams on their way to the health. They're not going to get very far. That's why the Alabamas, the Ohio States, and the dominant programs that have all that depth are going to continue to win championships because that's what's going to show up in the playoff.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. All right, so you spoke with Lance Guidry. Talk to me a little bit about what you learned in that conversation, something that Canes fans should be excited about.
Well, I talked to a lot of Lance's former players, and Bruce Feldman actually is the one who spoke with Lance about his defense before he got hired. And, the piece that we wrote last month on him was just, showing people what this guy, how smart this dude is. I mean, he's been under a lot of different coaches and learned a lot from different coaches over the many years that he's been doing it. And he always had to sort of overachieve with his defenses. He never really had, the big dominant defensive tackles or the big linebackers or the big cornerbacks. This last team that he had at Marshall, he had 2 big corners, but that was sort of a rarity for him. And yet the guy's always overachieved, and he's really good on third down, the stuff that he comes up with. He's got really good third down packages. You look at Marshall's defense last year. They were super effective, number 1 in the country, one of the best in the last 20 years statistically. So, they beat Notre Dame on the road. That's a huge win for a program like Marshall. Doesn't have that kind of talent. So, I think Lance is the kind of coach who at Miami, given the opportunity with better athletes and some more talented players, I think he's the kind of guy who can put himself in position in 2 or 3 years to be a head coach at the Power 5 level, because somebody's gonna ride with this guy. Somebody's gonna say, hey, you know what? He's overachieved everywhere he's been. He fixed Miami's defense. They weren't very good last year. I think they're going to be better with him calling the shots. And I see that kind of potential. He's already been a head coach in the past. He wasn't McNeese State, but I mean, getting an opportunity to be at a bigger level, I think that's the kind of coach he is.
Who's the guy that's going to benefit the most on the team with him? After you talk with players, you got the information, obviously, that your coworker got. Who's the player that you think is going to, like, for me, like I look at the safety for the Miami Dolphins, and I'm brain farting. What's the name of our guy for the safety for the Dolphins? Holland. Jesus. For me, Holland is going to benefit the most from Fangio's defense. I think he's going to have a Pro Bowl season and have 6, 7, 8 interceptions next year because of the way that system is designed. That it's kind of more of a bend don't break type defense, and it forces you to be perfect. I think Holland, and especially now you added Ramsey, oh my God, it's just like the quarterback's going to be forced to work the middle of the field, and now you're coming right into his hands. So to me, Holland is the guy that I think is going to benefit a lot from Fangio's defense. Who's the guy you think on the Canes defense that might benefit the most after you've gone into all of this?
Well, I mean, look, Cam Kitchens already last year had a phenomenal season. Led the ACC with 6 interceptions. He was All-American. He's going to be working hand in hand with Guidry. So I think from an individual perspective, nobody's going to probably improve more than that guy. But I'm really interested to see what he does with James Williams, because James Williams is an absolute athletic freak at 6'5", with the length and the long arms that he has. That's the guy I want to see who he has the biggest influence on, because I think he's got to figure out a way to utilize that guy's talents the best. And to me, I've been saying this about James Williams since he was in high school, since I saw him as a junior. I think he's much better at the line of scrimmage than he is in open space. I know nobody's going to tell him, hey, don't play safety, because they don't want him to get in the transfer portal and leave. But in my mind, I've been saying for a long time, I think he's an outside linebacker. He's an Isaiah Simmons type. You think of Isaiah Simmons from a couple years ago at Clemson and went in the first round of the NFL draft. A guy who played all over the field at Clemson. I think James has to be closer to the line of scrimmage. And I think at times I want to see him pass rush. I want to see him use those long arms to bat passes and create turnovers. I think he's the most unique tool in Miami's defense. So I want to see what he does with him, where he lines him up on the field, what he does with him after this summer. And hopefully he gets a chance to convince him that, hey, you know what, big guy, you want to make a lot of money in the NFL, you want to be a first-round pick, don't try to arm tackle and hit guys with your shoulder and lean in with the way that you have in the past. You have too many tools to waste it and to utilize them the best. So to me, I think those two guys from an individual perspective, but as a position group, from talking to a few of his former players, I think the defensive line, the way that he utilizes those guys, he lets the 2 edge rushers stand up and blitz. It looks like only 2 down linemen, but it's really 4. And just some of the packages and stunts and things that they do in his defense. I think, the defensive ends, you could see a guy, like Jafari Harvey, who's got a whole lot of talent and just hasn't put up a whole lot of numbers, but we've seen flashes. We saw the pick 6 that he had at North Carolina a couple of years ago. We've seen him bat passes, and I think the defensive linemen, the Leonard Taylors, the Jafari Harveys, I think those guys are probably between Guidry and Jason Taylor. Those are the kind of guys you're going to see take off.
On the other side of the ball, wide receiver, need a number 1. What's the word? What's the word?
Well, I mean, look, they're really looking in the transfer portal for help. I think that's something that they're not going to stop doing, but you're only as good as your options, right? You're only as good as the guys that are out there and available. And so we know the way the transfer portal works. I'm not accusing Miami of tampering, but the way it works nowadays is real simple. Guys are going to go through spring football. They're going to have an opportunity at the end of spring to reevaluate if this is the best place for them. And I think Miami's going to make it very, very known that they want somebody good to jump in the portal, and they'll happily pay him in NIL, whatever it takes to get him down here. In the event that doesn't happen, I think a kid like Colby Young, who really came on strong, I think, over the last 6 games of the season, I think he's probably going to be your number 1 guy. Physically, he looks really, really impressive. I think he looks faster coming in and out of his cuts than he did a year ago. And then you have Jacoby George, who is really talented, but is he all there mentally? Is he going to show up and play every single week the way that he needs to and perform the way that he needs to? He's a talented player. He's got the skills. It's what's upstairs and whether or not he has the confidence to show up every week and be the same guy. And I think, those 2 guys, I would say, in terms of returning veterans. Obviously, you have Xavier Restrepo, who's going to catch a bunch of balls because he's best friends with Tyler Van Dyke and he's the slot guy. But in terms of in terms of stretching the field,
that's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
that's Colby Young's job in my mind, and Jacoby George's job. And I don't know that they're going to get there. And I know, I'll put it this way: I know Miami's looking. They made no secret about that. They want to find help in the transfer portal, and we'll see whether or not they get there.
Is there a disgruntled star out there in college football right now in the news?
I know for a fact they tried to convince Jordan Addison and Zay Flowers to come to Miami. They tried with both those guys. They tried with the tank kid from Houston who played for Miami's offensive coordinator last year, Shannon Dawson, the kid who led Houston in receiving. So they certainly had backdoor conversations to try to convince guys to come here. It just didn't work. And I think, the one thing you have to remember for a lot of these dudes is if they're in a situation where they already thrived, right, to get them to come here and play for and Tyler Van Dyke, etc. They want to see him stretch the field. So this spring game is almost like, to me, if I'm Miami, I'm trying to showcase Tyler Van Dyke throwing the ball down the field as much as possible, and making sure those highlights are out there and showing, hey, look, this is our mentality. We're not, that what you saw with Josh Gaddis last year, erase that from your memory banks.
Okay.
Because there's a new sheriff in town. So
yeah.
I think they're going to really try to sell that this spring.
Yeah, it's like Mike McDaniel, right? If you watch that offense, you're like, yeah, no, I want to be a part of that. And I'm sure guys down the line are going to want to, no, I want to be a part of that offense because that'll get me some numbers and that'll get my name out there. So, yeah, it definitely can't be that offense from last year. Oh, my God, that was terrible. All right, what are you working on over at The Athletic before your vacation?
Well, I have a whole series on recruiting and where each of the Power 5 programs get their players from. A breakdown from the last 6 years, a lot of analysis. If you're interested in that kind of stuff and how schools are recruiting, how much they're using the transfer portal now, it's obviously changed quite a bit. And this is sort of a deep dive into that subject. ACC, Big 10, Big 12, all of those things. Obviously realignment is another conversation. Miami fans are, among the many upset with the contract that the ACC is tied into with its TV rights through 2036. Everybody's worried that Miami and everybody in the ACC is going to fall behind the Big 10 and SEC with those big TV contracts that they have. Last night I got a phone call from somebody at Miami who's pretty disgruntled and with Jim Phillips and the ACC and the way they're sort of operating now.
What can they do? It's a contract already. They can't.
Yeah, I think they want a little bit more participation. They want Jim Phillips to open the floor to talking to some people in athletic departments. The feedback I've gotten and things I've heard from other people in the conference is Phillips is going to school presidents for a lot of these conversations. And I think a lot of athletic directors and sports people want to be involved in these conversations more than they are right now. And in terms of making more money for the conference and coming up with ideas that work. School presidents are academics. Oh, we know that, right? That's what they're focused on. Yes, they're in charge of schools and budgets and whatnot. But the reality is the people who Jim Phillips needs to be having these conversations with are sports leaders at each of these universities so that they can put their heads together and figure out a way to help get this done. Right now, I think a lot of the conversation is centered for the ACC around getting the Pac-12 involved with ACC Network. Pac-12 is obviously looking for their own TV deal. The ACC is looking for sort of a kickoff classic partner, scheduling some games against the Pac-12, potentially, bringing some teams in and having, sort of a West Coast, East Coast type of deal. Those are all sort of internal conversations and thoughts that have been discussed. But
wait a minute, hold on a second. What's left in the Pac-12 that you want that's sexy?
Well, you have
that if UCLA and USC are gone, what else is left in the Pac-12 that you would say, oh, this is going to bring us ratings. This is going to bring us crowds. Clemson versus Utah. You're still going out to see Clemson, not Utah, no matter what.
And no, I don't disagree with you. I think the concept is, like I said, it's been wide ranging from setting up a series where every year maybe the first game of the season is an ACC Pac-12 type of matchup. You get a Miami-Oregon game, or you get a Washington-Clemson game, or a Washington-Florida State game, or, to try to bring that back. I mean, a lot of those teams don't see each other anymore, right? Like, we don't have a whole lot of ACC Pac-12 matches, but the point is to get more TV viewers. I mean, that's what this is all about. It's about the map, right? It's where can we get more TV viewers? The Big 12 is obviously very interested in adding Colorado and Arizona. It feels like if they add the Phoenix and Denver markets, that works for the Big 12. I know it doesn't make sense for the ACC and Pac-12 geographically, right, and history-wise. But if there's a way to create more revenue, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to figure out what kind of games could we schedule, what could we do. Let's discuss this, because there really is nothing else. The SEC and Big Ten are set. They are going to potentially become the AFC and NFC of college football, and if you're not in one of those conferences, you're screwed. You're not going to have the money to pay big-time assistant coaches. All the best coaches are going to be going to those conferences. And ultimately, we haven't evolved to this yet, but I think it's going to evolve to those are the conferences that are going to be paying the players the most once the NCAA is sort of phased out of the system. So I just think, the ACC is very nervous. They're very scared about its situation. There's a lot of member schools. I was told yesterday there's 7 schools that want to blow up the contract, that want to get it
the
over.
problem is you won't be able to. You're locked in. It's not. To me, it sounds like a whole bunch of people panicking about something they have no control over. You already signed the deal. They're not going to give you more money. They're not going to tell.
No, ESPN has no incentive. To me, the only thing that makes sense with it is in 2030, when some of these other contracts die. Okay, when the other conferences have to start renewing their own TV deals for the second time, right? Because the SEC and Pac and Big Ten just signed new deals, but they were smart enough to do it through 2030 and 2031 and 2032. When we get to that point, that's when schools like Miami have to hope that the Big Ten and or SEC call them and say, hey, we want to expand again. Let's figure out a way to go into your market. I think for Miami, what makes the most sense is the Big Ten. From an academic perspective, from a geographic perspective, the Big Ten recruits Florida more than any other state of all the conference. Like literally in the whole country. Florida feeds the Big Ten more than any other state. And so it makes sense for them to come and get a Miami and Florida State and bring them into the conference so that they have a footprint in Florida. So for Miami and FSU, I think that's the best bet long term. But the point is, there are administrators at a lot of ACC schools right now who are upset because they feel like Jim Phillips isn't utilizing their brains enough and is sort of keeping the conversations with just the school presidents. And they want to get involved in trying to figure out ways to make more money.
All right. Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro and catch his work at The Athletic. Better yet, subscribe like I and many others do. That way you're on top of everything. Manny, as always, thank you for taking some time, my man. Appreciate it. We will catch up next week. Have a great weekend and enjoy the vacay, too, with the family. Oh,
We'll do, brother. Thank you.
You got it, baby. There you go. Manny Navarro. Remember, when you order over $99 at caneswear.com, you will get free shipping. Better yet, you should go down to 2511 South University Drive in Davie. All right, check it out, and you're going to love that. That place is heaven for a Canes fan. It's heaven for an Inter-Miami fan, a Miami Heat fan, Miami Dolphins, Miami Marlins. They've got it all. They're Florida Panthers. They've got gear for all your teams. But when it comes to Canes, man, they've got practically anything and everything with the Canes logo on it. So go to caneswear.com. If you can't visit it personally, go online and check it out. And they ship right away. Jeff and the folks, I mean, I'm telling you, they work hard as hell to ship what you order probably on the same day. It's really nuts. You're going to realize, you're going to go, wow, I got this stuff really quickly. And that's because they do a great job at Caneswear. So tell them that Big O sent you when you go by there personally or shop online at caneswear.com.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
All right. For those of you, I if we talked about Rick Allen, the drummer for Def Leppard. So I reached out to him. He told me he's feeling sore. He says the guy had the strength of 5 guys. He says, myself and Jessica, his wife, are counting our blessings. It could have been a lot worse. So Rick Allen hanging in there. So for those of you that were worried about the Def Leppard drummer, he's hanging in there. That's a hell of a line from him. And he had the strength of 5 men. What a piece of crap that dude is. And he probably won't serve the jail time that he deserves, too. That's the worst part about it. Bitcoin, $26,343. So it is still over 26,000, trying to make it to 27. We'll see if, it looked like he was like a meth head. Apparently he was like then caught vandalizing and terrorizing other people too after. So, yeah. Well, dude's not right in the head. There's no doubt about that. Do the Shula kids still have a relationship with the organization? I don't believe so. Okay? I don't believe so. And by the way, I got to work with Tim Robbie over at Inter Miami and with the Strikers, and just one of the best human beings you'll ever deal with, bro. Tim Robbie is just a great, great man. Love that dude. And good people. Good people. If you ever see Tim Robbie out there, give him a hug for me, man. I haven't seen him in a while. Good people, man. Really like him. Let's see. What else do we have going on in the world of sports? So Michael Jordan is set to sell a majority stake of the Hornets. I'm wondering if there are parties in Charlotte all over the place. Seriously, I mean, he's going to sell the majority stakes of the team. Does he still stay in charge? I doubt it, right? Because whoever buys the majority stakes, you've got to be a stupid mofo to keep Michael Jordan in place. Michael Jordan is one of the worst executives in the history of the NBA. He's as bad an executive as good as he was a player. So I can actually say Michael Jordan is the worst executive I have ever seen in the NBA. I mean, you can name a few others, but we're splitting hairs. All right? Just like I'll tell you Michael is the greatest player, okay? And I can go with that, no problem. I'm not going to argue with the person that wants Wilt or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or Magic Johnson or Larry Bird. Whatever, dude. If you want to go with those other guys, that's fine. Whatever. I'm not going to argue with you and go crazy on this. It's understandable if you think those guys are number one. Bill Russell, you think he's number one. That's fine. I can live with it. But Michael Jordan, as an executive, I can make a great argument that he is the worst executive in the history of mankind. So I don't know how many people are watching the show right now or downloading the show day or night from the Charlotte area, but I got to say something. You have to be super happy about this because it can't get any worse than Michael Jordan. Oh my God, he sucks. I could do a better job than Michael Jordan. I think Sean can do a better job. Okay? I think I can grab a bum off the street and he would do a better job. I think a donkey would make better selections in the NBA draft than Michael Jordan. Okay? Seriously. When I heard that news, I was really happy for Charlotte fans because that guy's a cancer to basketball as an executive. An absolute cancer. Like, he has no business being in the business of basketball. Okay? So as much as we want to praise him as a player, and let's do it. Let's give Michael Jordan all the praise, all the love. He's the baddest mofo on the planet. He would cut your heart out. But at the same time, as much as I give you praise as a player, I'm going to call it like I see it as an executive. Oh, my God, you're a freaking cancer, dude. You're a fucking clown when it comes to running a basketball team. The only reason Dan Snyder is worse than you, it's because he's a despicable human being, allegedly. Outside of that, you're not a despicable human being. But my God, you are a dumb-ass mofo when it comes to basketball. So, yeah, Michael, sell the team, get the hell out. You're nothing more than a great player and a fan. You have no business being an executive. Good for Charlotte Hornets fans. They get rid of the cancer. Okay? They got all the chemo, and they're getting it out. Good for them. They fought cancer, and they won. Get the hell out. And by the way, kick Michael Jordan right center in the ass on the way out the door. Okay? Hey, Michael, have a great life. Hope we never see your ass again. Get lost. Oh, my God, that guy's a complete ass clown as an executive. What do you got?
Some stats for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
2 playoff appearances in 12 seasons, lost in the first round with both times.
And let's not forget the amazing picks he had in Washington, too. Go ahead.
Worst season in NBA history, 7-59, a 106 winning percentage. 3 players arrested in a single offseason. Blew top 10 picks on Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, Frank Kaminsky, Noah Vonleh, and Cody Zeller. Drafted, and I'm going to mess this name up, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and immediately traded him for Miles Bridges. Some highlights there, just a few.
No, and you're leaving out his Washington picks. That was what was the name of the 2 centers he picked in Washington that were like deadbeats?
Yeah, but this is just for the Hornets fans. This has nothing to do with the Washington.
I know, but I'm just saying, as an executive, I just want just the consistency of how bad Michael Jordan is. Okay? I mean, Michael Jordan doesn't get ripped enough, dude. It's embarrassing the people that cover the NBA that they don't make jokes about him. Everybody should be making jokes about Michael Jordan. They don't because he gets away with his history as a player. But my God, he's a complete embarrassment as a basketball executive. It's disgusting how terrible Michael Jordan is. A guy that was the greatest player, arguably the greatest player in the game, couldn't find a good player if his life depended on it, dude. This guy never hits on picks. This is one of the stupidest mofos in the history of basketball. Like, really, seriously. And there isn't enough articles of, we talk about how bad Daniel Snyder is for a team, right? We talk about how bad Dean Spanos is as an owner. We talk about Mike Brown, how notoriously cheap he is, right? We slam the owners that do not get the job done on a consistent basis. Why the hell isn't Michael Jordan absolutely torched every single year? Why isn't he the butt of jokes all the effing time? I don't get it. I know on this show I've been ripping him for years. I've been making fun of his ass for years because he's a joke. He's a complete joke. It's amazing to me how bad that guy is in basketball. Like, I am guaranteeing you that if I dedicated myself to it, I would be 100 times better than Michael Jordan. That doesn't take a lot. But I think almost any dumbass can be better than Michael Jordan picking basketball players. Seriously. Like, that guy has no eye for basketball at all. I don't care how good of a player he was. What do you got for me? Kwame Brown now? You're going to give me?
No, it was Kwame Brown, but there's
another one too.
There's some story that Jordan actually wanted Elton Brand, but the Wizards wanted Kwame Brown.
And Elton Brand was all injured all the time.
For marketing purposes is the reason
Elton Brand was a complete bust.
Player. Yeah, no, I'm just saying. I mean,
and then he picked somebody else after Kwame Brown. Who did he pick right after Kwame Brown? Go look at the Wizards drafts.
I'm in the Wizards draft. It doesn't.
The year after, isn't there like a player a year right after that? I want to say he took like another big doofus that was really bad also besides Kwame Brown. But like it's amazing to me. So if I'm a Hornets fan, brother, I am, wow. Because what was the other clown? Was it George Shin? Was the other owner's name for the Hornets? Was it Shin? I think it was. He was also cheap and terrible. Yeah, no, you're King Short. He's consistent. There's no doubt. He's consistently the worst executive in all of pro sports. Practically.
Was he there 2000, 2001, or 2001, 2002?
Who?
Jordan.
Oh, he was there longer than that because he was a player and then stepped into the front office.
All right, because Kwame Brown was 2001.
And then was it 2002 or 2003?
2002 is Juan Dixon, Jared Jeffries. 2003 is Jarvis Hayes. These are first round.
What was before Kwame Brown? What was right before Kwame Brown? I don't know why I think he had another big doofus in there.
2000, they didn't have a first rounder. They had Mike Smith in the second round. 99, it was Richard Hamilton.
No, yeah. Richard Hamilton was a good player.
Yeah. In 2002, they had 2 first-round picks. They took,
but he was good.
Jared
he
Jeffries
went to
with
Detroit.
the 11th and Juan Dixon with the 17th.
Okay. Or maybe it was a trade he made, not a draft pick.
Let me check that out.
Maybe he traded for a big doofus that was terrible. Maybe that's what it was. Yeah, no, I know Jordan drafted Kwame Brown. I remember that, but there was like another guy. Bengals left tackle Jonah Williams requested a trade. Oh, why? Because he's not getting paid?
That's why I talked about Orlando Brown.
Huh?
Signed Orlando Brown.
Oh, that's right, because he plays left tackle. So they're going to let go of Jonah Williams. Okay. All right, so he's got to get traded. Or they want him to play right tackle? Big O, I'm curious to know what's your total balance in crypto if you care to share. No, I don't care to share. I love people want you to share your personal shit. Like, are you going to share your personal stuff, bro? You going to tell us how much you make? You going to tell us what you got invested and all that kind of stuff? Like, you know, some of you out there, you know, it's like, it's amazing. You want somebody on air to do shit that you would never do in your freaking life. You know, it's awesome. Big O, you tried to wipe that from your memory? I can't. Oh, Adam Morrison. Oh, man, the porn stash. I remember him. Bengals will probably move Williams to right tackle and release Collins. Maybe. But he probably doesn't want to play right tackle. Mel goes, give me your bank account and your address. Jordan is going to double his money because he bought it at $700 million. He can double his money all he wants, bro. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. You know what? I never want to hear from Michael Jordan ever in my life. I never want to see him as an analyst. I never want him to tell me about what he thinks a good player is because he doesn't know shit about it. That's all I know. That's the one thing that I've learned from Michael Jordan now. The one thing I want him to tell me about him playing and what he would do to people and all that. I never want to hear Michael Jordan tell me, you know, I think that guy's going to be a good player because I'm going to tell him, you know, Michael, you don't know anything about this, so I don't even want to hear from you. You know? Seriously. Like, I don't want to even know anything about you. Okay? You have no knowledge when it comes to basketball. Zero. Talk to me about when you used to play. Let me hear about those games and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? The great Larry Schlossberg is in the house.
Is this what you're talking about here?
What is it?
LaRon Profit got the better of Jordan in training prior to Jordan coming out of retirement again. He said, you can't guard me with them old-ass knees. Hamilton is this one telling the story.
Right.
Said Jordan was heated to the point that when I got to my exit meeting, because he was the president at the time, I went into my exit meeting and he was like, okay, Rip, you know your man, your buddy, he's out of here. Jordan was indeed true to his word as he sent Profit and a first-round pick to the Orlando Magic in August 2001 and brought in Brendan Haywood.
That's it.
From North Carolina.
That's it. Brendan Haywood, another bust, another stiff. I told you. See, I remember. I don't remember everything, but I remember some things, and that one I remembered right there. I knew there was another big doofus that he got. It wasn't a draft. It was a trade. Brendan Haywood. Yes, another guy. Another bum. Wait, Big O. What about your wrestling knowledge? Well, my wrestling knowledge is second to none. I mean, when you guys need a prediction, I'm your man. Okay? I'm your man. Let's see. Hunter says, yeah, my balance is 180. Let's see. Michael Jordan drafted Cody Zeller over Victor Oladipo and Tobias Harris. I just want MJ to tell me the check is in the mail. Yep, that's it. Yep. So, but that's Michael is just embarrassing, bro. Now, let me tell you something. If you are dealing with an insurance company and you want to embarrass them, okay, as much as Michael Jordan has embarrassed himself as an executive, as one of the worst executives in the history of mankind, well, let me tell you something. You're going to embarrass those insurance companies when you hire Welt Rheaume. So if you have a car accident, if you're dealing with bankruptcy, homeowner property damage like we did, condo damage, maybe water damage, hurricanes, storms, something happened. Man, before you call those insurance companies, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury, even criminal defense, before you call anybody, you call Welt Rheaume. I'm telling you, one of our listeners, by the way, I'm not going to say your name, sir, because, but he's a hardcore listener. One of our listeners in Orlando, the city of Orlando, was in the offices of Welt Rheaume 2 days ago. Okay, Daniel Rheaume called me, says, hey, I got one of your listeners here. He came down from Orlando. Thank you, sir. Don't want to say your name. Don't know if you're comfortable with it or not. I never say people's names, and you guys use our sponsors and all that stuff. But I'm just telling you, man, Dade, Broward, Palm Beach counties, they've got an office in Monroe County. In fact, they're going to be there this weekend. There's some kind of a festival out there that they're going to be out there. And Welt Rheaume, man, if you're dealing with any of these issues, we had to deal with Progressive, and these guys brought Progressive to their freaking knees, man. And they got us 5 times what Progressive was offering us. So do not call the insurance companies. They're not in your favor. Their adjusters are working for them, not for you. They're not going to be looking out for you. Welt Rheaume has their own adjusters. So it doesn't matter if it's a home or a condo or a car or whatever it is. They will take care of it. And if you're dealing with some personal stuff, bankruptcy, criminal defense, personal injury, all of those kind of things, call Welt Rheaume. Save this number on your cell phone, 954-966-4646. Hey, listen, you may not even have to go. Listen, I commend my listener that came down from Orlando. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you immensely. But you could just call and do the consultation, free consultation by phone. If you want to go by and talk to them, you can do that. They got beautiful offices there in Hollywood. They'll take care of you, man. So please call Jeff Welt or Daniel Rheaume, 954-966-4646. They will get it done for you. I promise you. They will kick their ass because that's what they do. Okay? That's how they roll. It's a beautiful thing. Big O, there's a lot of former players that didn't do good as GMs, such as Magic and Bird. Mark Cuban just made a stupid... Well, but Mark Cuban's not those guys. Mark Cuban is a business executive. But he won a title. Don't even put Mark Cuban in the same sentence as Michael Jordan, dude. Mark Cuban's got a title, okay? So but he's not those guys. But you're right. Most great players suck as managers, coaches, general managers, executives. Most of them suck at it. The Ozzie Newsomes and the who's the other guy that I always think of? Jerry West. The Ozzie Newsomes and the Jerry West. Oh my God, those people are rare. Oh my God, they're hard to find. They're really hard to find. Yeah, mostly they're bad. But Michael, oh my God, Michael is as terrible as it gets, dude. He's really bad. What do we got here? What do we got going on? Oh, let me check it here a second. All right. Bitcoin still at 26,380. Still trying to bust through that 27,000 mark now. That's the new roof that it's dying to bust. Pretty soon we'll be busting 30, baby. Pretty soon. Gesicki will basically be a slot receiver. Yes. Yes, of course. But that's what he is. Bird built a hell of a team in Indiana. He did not build the Reggie Miller team, if that's what you're saying. The Davis boys and Rick Smith, and that's not that wasn't Larry Bird. That was old man, salt and pepper hair, glasses. Oh, bro, look it up for me. Former Indiana Pacers general manager. When you give me the name, I'll remember it right away. I have his face right in front of me. I'm trying to remember the name before he gets it. Oh, God. But he built the teams. He built those teams after. That he had some decent teams that he built, and then he got a bunch of guys that got arrested all over the place. But the Ron Artest and all that, those were his teams. But the really awesome Indiana teams were built by Donnie Walsh. Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. Yeah, but I didn't want to look at the chat because I know that they end up getting it, and then, because they get to Google and shit. You know what I'm saying? I just try to Google in here. Like, I have Donnie Walsh's face in my brain right now, I would have remembered Donnie Walsh while I'm driving home. Son of a bitch. It's one of those. That is, you're trying to remember something, and then for the rest of the day, it's screwing with you, right? And then the second you leave that conversation, that meeting, the show, whatever it is, and you're driving home or whatever, boom, it pops in your mind. You're like, damn it, that's what it was, But yeah, Donnie Walsh was a badass. He built those nasty teams, the real good Pacer teams. Yeah, Larry built the ones that got arrested. The ones that did the malice in the palace, okay? He's the one that drafted the Artests and the Williams, and like Pacer players were getting arrested left and right with Larry Bird. Nate Mandu says, Big O, surprised to see Minshew get paid less dollar store money than Mike White. No, he didn't. You may want to rewind so you can actually get an education, my man. There's only $4.2 million guaranteed in 2 years for Mike White. That's $2.1 million each year. So the rest is all incentive laden. It's not really an $8 million deal. It's really a $4.2 million deal with a bunch of incentives that whether he plays or he doesn't, he meets them. Minshew, you may want to rewind so you can understand what the hell's going on. I already addressed it. Larry Bird is the only person ever win Coach of the Year, Executive of the Year, and MVP 3 times. Yeah. Yep. He did a pretty good job. He wasn't a bad executive, but he wasn't as great as they put him out to be there, by the way. That was more about Larry. But he built some nice Pacer teams, but he didn't build the great ones the ones that we're talking about, like the really good ones. That wasn't him. I hope Derrick Henry doesn't end up with the Bills. I was just reading about it. Yeah, I'm not really worried about any of that. And by the way, the Bills would have to give up compensation to get him and money, right? They don't really have a ton of money available. So I don't know how they would do that. By the way, Slomins Home Shield, we've been talking about Slomins for a while now. Proud sponsor of our program, 1-800-ALARM-ME. And those of you that are still dealing with cold weather, we're not, as you can see, wearing a T-shirt here, just hanging out. Florida, we're just hanging out. But in California, you're still dealing with all kinds of snow. Connecticut, New Jersey, New York, Maryland, Virginia, Georgia, all these places that are still dealing with cold weather, you need heating oil. And guess what? You can call the great people at Slomins, 1-866-OIL-DEAL. That's 1-866-OIL-DEAL. You can save hundreds. Let me tell you something. Fixed price, okay? And you know what you're paying every month. So all you got to do is call to compare. That's it. Pick up the phone. 1-866-OIL-DEAL. If you live in California, Connecticut, New Jersey, New York, Maryland, Virginia, Georgia, 1-866-OIL-DEAL. Call to compare. And if it's a cheaper price, then go with Slomins, man. I've been telling you about their alarm system now for a while, and we can give you a free doorbell camera right now at 1-800-ALARM-ME. And folks, when you call, okay, Slomins Home Shield, and you tell them that you got it on the Big O Show and that you want your free doorbell camera, and you use our professional installation and our low-cost central station monitoring, you're going to get an LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 3-arm doors, and a backup battery. Call 1-800-ALARM-ME. That's 1-800-ALARM-ME for Slomins Home Shield. Oh, I suck with names too. Getting old sucks. I guess we're losing brain cells. Yep. I'll remember your name if I've seen you several times. I won't remember your name if I've only seen you once or twice. I'll usually forget it at this point. I'll remember faces, but I do struggle with names from people. Now, this kind of stuff, I'm actually pretty good at remembering stuff from the past, actually. But I can't remember everything. I think at times I prove that I remember some bunch of stuff that you would think would be hard to remember. So I can't complain. Immutable X is up 19%. Man. Polka Dot up 8. The Central End up 9. Very nice. Very nice. I like it, and I like it a lot. Ho Yoon, thank you for some love on Venmo. Sent it yesterday, and I did not see it till after the show. So thank you, sir, for a little love on Venmo. Remember, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Monday, we will be giving out some passes for the youth fair. And Monday, we're going to be live at the youth fair. Our show Monday will not be at 10 a.m. Our show on Monday will be at 2 p.m. from 2 to 5, and we'll be live at the youth fair in Dade County. Just to give you the youth fair schedule, Monday, we're at the youth fair 2 to 5. Wednesday, March 29th, we're there at the youth fair 2 to 5 p.m. And Wednesday, April 5th, we'll be at the youth fair 4 to 7 p.m. So 3 appearances, 3 live shows at the youth fair, and a lot of food. You know I'm going to have a elephant ear every day I get off the air that I go there, the 3 times. I'll pick up all my stuff, and on the way out, I stop at my elephant ear, and I'm getting my elephant ear on the way out the door. Bet your ass on that, dude. I mean, guaranteed I will have 3 elephant ears this year at the youth fair, which, by the way, is the most I've ever had in any youth fair, because I don't think I've ever been to the youth fair 3 times. Even when I was young, it would only be once, maybe twice, not 3 times. I've never been to the youth fair 3 times. So now I'm going to have 3 elephant ears. God, you know, when they had the pandemic You wouldn't know about this, but they had the pandemic, and they called the pandemic 24 or 36 hours maybe before the youth fair was supposed to start. They shut everything down. So this is really smart. All the vendors were ready, dude. So they bought all their food and all that stuff. So they're like, what are we going to do? So for the next 2 weekends, you know what they did? They brought the vendors to FIU, and then we had a drive-through. And every weekend I would go over there to go get an elephant ear. I would drive through and get my elephant ear and go back home. It was awesome, bro. That was fantastic. And that was really smart on their part because no youth fair, but yet, and the lines were long as hell, dude. Okay. I think I waited one of those times, like 40 minutes for my elephant ear. That's how long the line was. But I didn't mind. I was in the car listening to music, whatever. I don't care. I'm getting my elephant ear. That's all that counts. You know? Love it. Frankie Fresco. Yeah. Giving some love. He got us some Bitcoin love on Cash App. Remember, you can send on Cash App or Venmo. Of course, you can make a donation, but you can also send Bitcoin too. So thank you, Frankie. Appreciate you, my man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Very nice. Very nice. For your wrestling knowledge, you know it's strong. You know my wrestling knowledge. So very nice. That always gets me really excited when people donate a little Bitcoin. That's my favorite kind of donation because that's the kind of donation. See, you got to feel good about that donation when you give it to us because that's a donation that will continue to grow. And so you're constantly, giving a little bit in as Bitcoin continues to grow. So it's a beautiful thing. Think about that. You donate once, but it constantly grows and gives a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. It's kind of like, a loved one that gives you that love every single day of your life. That kind of stuff. 26,440 right now for Bitcoin. Got to admit, I didn't expect New England to move on from Jonnu Smith and spend more money on tight end when they have other needs. Yeah, listen, Belichick, he doesn't have Brady to bail him out anymore. So his mistakes and his management will get exposed a lot more now that he doesn't have the ultimate eraser. Stephen Harris says, good morning, Big O. Sad to hear about Gesicki signing with the Patriots. Gonna miss him. Wish him well. I wish him well, but I'm not worried. I'm not worried about the Patriots. The Patriots are not a team that has me concerned whatsoever. Big O, how long have you been in crypto? A little over 2 years, sir. Not long. I am not this seasoned and grizzled veteran or anything like that. But I'm a happy camper. I'm already in the green with my Bitcoin. So I'm already in the profit because I didn't have a ton of Bitcoin before this crash. I only had a little bit of Bitcoin, and then I've bought all of my Bitcoin well under 25,000. Most of it I bought under because when it got this low, I just kept buying as much as I could. So I've already lowered my price under this. My I don't have a whole Bitcoin. I wish, that would be nice to have a whole Bitcoin, but the total Bitcoin I have is definitely under the 26. It might be just around 20, the average, 2021. So I'm well over already in the Bitcoin that I do own. So it's pretty cool because I was able to cash in a lot here down the stretch, as it was low. I took advantage, man. What else do we have? And Sean, what is your comfort food you never get tired of eating? Oatmeal cookie. A really good oatmeal cookie. That is one that I could never get tired of eating is a good oatmeal cookie, okay? Like was it Lehman Brothers, right? Is that what they were called on 87th Avenue between Kendall Drive and Sunset? They're closed now. They're no longer open. Or was it not Lehman, right? I'm confusing it. It's no, not Edmonds. No, it's a supermarket that just closed. Not Lehman. But those of you that live in Miami between 80 and on 87th Avenue between Sunset and Miller, Kendall Drive and Sunset. What the hell is the name of that place? It was Lehman Brothers? No, that was the bank, right? That folded back in 2018 when the bank crisis, right? 2008, right? The bank crisis. Not Lehman. It's whatever Brothers. Anyways, it was something Brothers, and it wasn't the Smothers Brothers, but they had the best oatmeal cookies on the planet. Okay, the best. Now, where I get it is at Jersey Mike's. Jersey Mike's has some. I don't know what company makes their oatmeal cookies, but those things are the bomb, dude. So for me, a great oatmeal cookie, a delicious, rich oatmeal cookie, is a comfort food that I can have. Norman Brothers. That's it. Who told you? Mr. Spock, thank you, sir. And Mitch and Mike and Mitchell Young, thank you also. Norman Brothers. That's it. Not Rosendo was close with Neiman. So yes. Norman Brothers. They had it, man. They had I wish I had that recipe on how to make those oatmeal cookies. I probably would screw it up, but still would love to do it, man. God. So for me, it's oatmeal cookie. How about you? You got a comfort food?
Pizza pies.
Pizza pies. Wow. Well, like it's just cheese and what is it? Like what's up?
Whenever there's, I guess I could say Italian food in a way, because whenever I get comfort food, it's either actually calzone.
Oh, okay.
Or pizza. One of those two is what I go to.
Okay, so you're talking about you're talking about a slice of pizza. You're talking about regular pizza.
I'm talking a whole pizza.
Like a whole pie.
Yeah, pizza pie.
Okay, real pie. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, you thought I meant like okay.
I thought like there was some kind of
pizza
pie.
That's why I'm round. I go for the whole pizza pie.
I got
I'm not going for a slice.
Okay.
And it's got to be a large calzone, and yeah, I mean.
Okay.
If you're doing it, do it big, man.
Right. No, I got you. Makes sense.
Comfort, baby. Comfort.
Are you mining, by the way, still?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I just kickstarted my miners right now again. 26,444 for Bitcoin. Life is beautiful. That's all I can tell you. Homemade 3-cheese mac and cheese, expensive to make, but so good. Mac and cheese is something a lot of people like. Chicken and dumplings. Okay. Raisins or no in the oatmeal. You know, I'd rather have no raisins, but if it has some raisins, I'm all right. If it has too many raisins, then no. Then it's not. I can't have oatmeal cookies that are just freaking loaded with raisins. That takes away from it. So a little bit of raisins, I don't mind. If it has no raisins, I'm really good with that. Okay.
All right.
Really good with
some NFL news and notes. The Bucs released tight end Cameron Brate. The Bills cut wide receiver Isaiah McKenzie. And they're hoping to get a resolution to Zadarius Smith and Dalvin Cook roster situations today. But they're saying the best guess, the Vikings move on from both. And there was this is from our insider as well, Gus, by the way.
Okay.
Somebody went through, I guess, the tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Oliver got 3 years, $21 million. Hayden Hurst, 3 years, $21.75 million. Mike Gesicki, 1 year, $9 million. Juwan Johnson, 2 years, $12 million. And then looks like whoever signs Dalton Schultz might get a solid value.
Okay. Frankie likes macadamia cookies. Rosendo says, good choice, oatmeal cookies, good source of fiber and for constipation. Okay. A little too much information there, but I got you. Soft oatmeal raisin cookies right out of the oven. There you go. Oof, right out of the oven. So good. Einstein Brothers. Yeah, baby. That's always a good breakfast. By the way, Big O, happy St. Patrick's Day. Are you going to the pub in Pembroke Pines tonight? Nope. No pub for me. I will be hanging out with the wife tonight and probably in our backyard and drinking no beer. I will probably have a little Edge and vodka is probably what I'll have. Let's see. Ice cream, baby. Yeah. You know, I love me some cookies and cream ice cream. I will say that. That's a little bit of comfort food. Now, I have to have it has to be quality cookies and cream because there's some weak-ass cookies and cream out there at times. Damn right. Oatmeal raisin cookie, says Jesse in Minneapolis. With all this talk about food, time for me to eat lunch. Eric says, little butter, flour, and milk to make your roux. Add in shredded cheddar, pepper jack, and Monterey Jack, maybe some American. Pour over a boiled pasta and back with some casserole, onions sprinkled on top. All right, sounds good. I like it. Comfort food is homemade smoked pork butt. Oh, you like some of that ass, huh? All right. All right. You know, there's lots of people that are ass guys. You know, have you watched some of the baseball classic, Big O? Very little of the World Baseball Classic. It's just not something that I'm, gung ho about. It just doesn't really do much for me. I'll watch it for an inning or two and then I'll tune out, but I don't sit there and watch an entire game. I just don't. It's not important to me in my life. If the USA wins, I don't care. It's nice or whatever. I'll root for them, but it does really nothing for me. Oh, the USA won the World Baseball Classic. Brother, I want the Marlins to win the World Series. And, the USA winning the World Baseball Classic does nothing for me at all. It just doesn't get me excited. It's more really for the Caribbean nations and some of the Central and South American nations. They're really like into it. It's like the Caribbean Baseball Classic, like it means something to them. It doesn't mean shit to me, man. I'm sorry. I just have to be honest. It's entertaining. Once in a while you'll stop and you'll see a couple good pitches and a hit, a play or two there. And okay, that's nice. And then I move on. But it's not something that I'm sitting there and I'm really rooting for it and really want it badly. No, just doesn't do it for me. I don't think the World Baseball Classic in general does much for Americans. That's just me. Yes, sir.
If Griffey comes back, I'll watch it. He's saying he might come back for 2026.
Ken Griffey Jr.?
Yeah. He's the hitting coach for Team USA. So they asked him, like, I don't know if he's joking around or not, but also the reason I jumped on was
joking around.
The Buccaneers have released running back Leonard Fournette.
Okay. Well, that was kind of expected.
Yeah.
That's and definitely not for the Dolphins. Okay, just in case if any
it's
of
gonna
you
hit soon.
If any of you are about to say it. All right. Got my tickets to see Young the Giant here at Charlotte in June. I'm going to see Young the Giant when they come here to town too. I've seen them several times. Love Young the Giant, bro. Excellent band. Sean should sing Dean Martin. That's amore. You got
ain't no time to sing when your mouth is full.
Well, but you know the line in that
with
song.
calzone and pizza.
The pizza pie or whatever, that's amore. They have a pizza line in it. That's why. Let me see if I can.
That's because that guy wasn't eating pizza and calzone.
Let me see.
It's not amore.
Let me see if I can find the lyrics.
Amore is when you're eating.
Well, but I mean, it's kind of the same thing, isn't it?
That's not a movie.
It's kind of the same thing. It's amore when you're eating it. It's here we go. When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore. So there you go. So the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie. What happened? Who didn't get paid?
Jordan Poyer.
What happened?
Per league source, Bills safety Jordan Poyer's contract. 2 years, $12.5 million, up to $14.5 million, $7 million guaranteed. $760,000 becomes guaranteed to
Safeties
on fifth
don't
day
get paid, bro.
of 2024 league year.
Safety don't get paid.
So, man, what was his mark? What was the mark? Again, he said that the interest wasn't there.
Yeah,
So,
obviously. That's why he
my
went back.
goodness.
Yeah. So Miami wasn't that interested. Big O, what do you think of Gregor? When the moon hits your eye, that's Gregore. The Gregory getting hurt is huge. Is huge. So we'll see how that hurts their midfield. But I got to tell you something. I saw the line today. They haven't allowed an offensive score of any team. Do you know that you can get Inter Miami plus 1.5 for plus $310? Plus half a goal is only plus 1,200, but you can lose by a goal. You got to lose by 2 goals in this game. They haven't scored on Miami. And I know Gregory helps on defense. I get it. But I got to tell you something, man. I like this bet. I think I'm going to take Inter Miami plus 1.5 goals and take the plus 310 on Saturday. I like how they're playing. I really do. So I'm actually going to take Inter Miami here. But we'll find out how bad that injury hurts them. And maybe I screwed up by leaning to this without Gregory, but it sucks to lose him. I'll say that. Did I take a break here? I did not, right? Let's take a break here so we can start. Huh? Too late now? You'll break it up? Okay. But you can say that with me because I could just keep talking. You know what I mean? It's like, it's you hear this. It's funny when I'm driving around and then I'm listening to national radio shows or local radio shows, and they only have to fill like 8 or 10 or 12 minutes in a segment. Like that's the easiest thing there is in the world is to fill 8 or 10 or 12 minutes in a segment. Try talking for 30, 40, 50, 60 minutes or an hour and something consecutively, and then talk to me. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, he says, "Oh, I can't take a break." But
you keep going. I'm watching a tournament over here. I got stuff going on. I got priorities. All right, just keep talking.
All right, give me 2 minutes so we can start hour number 3 live from Craig Zinn's Acura Pembroke Pines. I tell you guys all the time about Cutter's Edge Pro, man. And what they did with our backyard and made it a pure oasis. That's our Sylvester tree right there on a beautiful day, providing a ton of sunshine. We've got one exactly like this out in the front yard, and it is absolutely gorgeous. There's Bono hanging around on the artificial turf. What's up, Bono? What's the word, baby? There you go, wagging that little tail. Maiden, there she is. Ziggy. How you doing, Ziggy? There you go. So we got the doggies hanging out. So just want to give you a little, we got some of the trees starting off from this way with the artificial turf. You see, there's Ziggy again, of course. Got it all the way. And look, we got some flowers coming out. That tree now will start to also spring, and it's absolutely beautiful too. So got all that, they can do all kinds of things for you in your backyard to kind of make it an oasis, which is what we've done. And obviously the dogs can play. What's up, Bono? I got him there hanging out. Maiden. There she is. There she is. The one and only. She's mean as a skunk, by the way. Just want you to know. She's awesome with us, but I mean, if you're a stranger, you don't want to meet mated. So as you can see, and then the artificial turf, remember, there's no watering. There's no cutting the grass. It looks fabulous like this the entire time. You know what I'm saying? It's beautiful. Back here in this corner is where we put the barbecue. I wheel it out, cook, then I wheel it back in. See, looks beautiful, doesn't it? Flowers are coming out. It's awesome. And then when I want to play a little golf, there's my putting green down the side, which is a beautiful thing. There's one of the holes all the way to the other side where Bono is at. All lights up. It's really beautiful when it lights up. See, we got the rough. Got several. Got one on that side. Got one over there in the corner where Bono's leaving. Got rough all over the place, man. Just in case, you get the ball trapped in there. That's it. That's another swing. Right, Maiden? So, check it out, cuttersedgepro.com. Make your home an oasis. Make your business, your HOA complex, condominium, you name it, they got you, bro. They do it all. All right? Then cut your trees down, and the artificial turf, I swear by it. Really easy to maintain, and it looks just absolutely freaking beautiful. Cutter's Edge Pro. Right, Ziggy?
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
There we go. There we go. There we go. We are back. There. Thank you. Cameron Wolf will be joining us at the bottom of the hour. We got a lot of things to talk about with Cam. Mike Gesicki signs a 1-year, $9 million deal. As we told you yesterday, it'll probably be a 1-year deal. It'll be a prove-it type deal for him, and that's exactly what he ended up signing. Inter Miami will take on Toronto tomorrow in Toronto. The Heat will take on the Bulls in Chicago. The Panthers will host the Devils on Saturday. We've got the the Canes tonight taking on Drake at 7:25. Let's see FAU Memphis. All right. At what time? 9:20. Okay, so I can watch. Hey, I can actually watch that right after. All right, not bad. Bitcoin at 26,545, trying to get to 27,000. Any more bad predictions out there for Bitcoin? Let's see. Jordan Poyer was trying to use the Dolphins as leverage to get more money from the Bills. No, Ray. No. He wanted to come to Miami. They just weren't willing to give him the money that he wanted. They probably were willing to give him less money than he got with the Bills. So, yeah. Jersey Mike's uses David's cookies for their oatmeal cookies. The giant chocolate chip cookies are so damn good. So are you telling... Hey, by the way, Pat in Asheville, you never reached out to me on Twitter, DM anything, or email bigoradioshow@yahoo.com, man. What's up with the Acura tickets? It was Pat in Nashville, right? It was you that had him, right, Pat? Wasn't it Pat in Nashville? And wasn't it you, Pat, that had the tickets? Aren't you the one that had the Cure tickets? You didn't reach out to me, bro. My buddy is in, but we need to know. Like, we got to, talk. So we want to go. We want to go to see the Cure in Atlanta. And, oh, by the way, for those of you out there that like the Cure, have never seen the Cure in concert, whatever it is. What'd he say? I didn't. When did you do it? When did you do it, damn it? I didn't see it on my Twitter feed. No, you got to DM me. You got to DM me, private message. You did send it on email at bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. Let's see. Let's see if you did. I hope you did. And then I'll contact you. Let's see. Where are you at? Yeah, I'm looking for it. Yesterday. He also sent a text to 855 brother, you're not very good at emailing. BigORadioshow@yahoo.com. Yeah, you need to send it again. I don't see it here at BigORadioshow@yahoo.com. Please send it again, Pat. So the question is, David's cookies. Can I order them directly from David? The oatmeal cookies? Big O, when you're wearing your sunglasses and talking crypto, you look and sound like a younger Gene Simmons. Okay, I like it. Christine, 16. Big O, I know you aren't a financial advisor. You got that right, Bill. But this sounds like decent crypto strategy for somebody just jumping in. $1/3 in Bitcoin, 1/3 in others like Polygon, and put percentage profits back into pick. Yes, yes, not a problem. You know what I like to tell people that are starting in it, Bill? I tell you, you get 100% of your pie, whatever your pie is. If it's $20, if it's $70, $200, $1,000, $500, $5,000, $50,000, whatever it is you can afford to lose, because we're all in different financial, considerations. I just say 40% of it in Bitcoin, 30% in Ethereum, and then 10% on other altcoins, and whether it's Polygon, Avalanche, Cardano, Cosmos, let me see, I'm trying to think of some other ones that I would like. Those are the ones that I would put like 10% in, but I would put 40 on Bitcoin, 30% on Ethereum. Immutable X, so it's made a run now already. That's kind of crazy. Hedera, Hashgraph, I love. Polkadot, I love. Chainlink, I love. Decentraland, things like that. I would put 10% in. So 3 of them, pick any of those 3, and I would put 10% in those. But for beginners, I would have 40 in Bitcoin and 30% in Ethereum. Whatever your pie is, break it up like that, and that's how you build up your portfolio. And I'm sure those of you that have been buying that stuff when I told you earlier, you're already profiting right now. There's no doubt in my mind. If you bought the dips, you are already profiting. Big O, what's more old school, having an email with AOL or Yahoo? No, AOL, bro. AOL. Yeah, that's total old school, because you've got mail. You can't order them? Son of a bitch. 2 pounds of cookies for $30? Wow. And where can I confirm, Pat in Asheville, that they use David's cookies? Because if you nailed this, oh my God, that is just amazing. Thank you, Pat. Pat, Not only am I buying the tickets of The Cure off of you, okay? Yeah, but I'm treating you to a couple beers at that concert there. If you're getting me these cookies, you have no idea. I go to Jersey Mike's in Doral on 107th. I go to that one at, when I get out of Hialeah Park, I drive right there and I grab 7 cookies. Okay? Because I eat one every day. So for a week, I go on freshly baked daily at Jersey Mike's. Okay, yeah. All right. You can buy it, the dough, and then cook it yourself? I'm done. That's it. That's it. I'm
I
done.
saw for the chocolate chip and the macadamian. I don't know if they have it for the oatmeal. I didn't see the oatmeal raisin.
Oh, that's not good.
The frozen ones. But you can get the 2 pounds already made.
Yeah, but wow. Yeah.
I'm sure if they have the one, they got to have the other, because that's how Jersey Mike's makes them. They probably just cut it, put it down there, and let it go.
Yeah. Don't do it, Big O. I can't help myself. You're welcome, Bill. Panera Bread has the cookie called the kitchen sink. Only eat half or sugar coma, but so good. I don't know, man. Is it that oatmeal cookie at Jersey Mike's is so effing good. As long as it's still fresh and soft, if it's been sitting there too long and it gets a little hard, it's still good, but it's not as good. But if you grab the cookie and it's still soft, ooh, doggy, I'm telling you, Jersey Mike's oatmeal cookie, that David's cookie, that is one of the best oatmeal cookies out there. And since my Smothers Brothers closed, what was the name of the place? I know it's not Smothers Brothers, but I'm joking. Norman Brothers. Since Norman Brothers closed on 87th Avenue, which just broke my heart, those were the greatest oatmeal cookies on the planet. My God, I love those oatmeal cookies. You want me to be a friend of yours forever? Oh, brother, you bring me some fresh and delicious oatmeal cookies. That's it. That's the ultimate drug for me, man. Pat in Asheville says, yes, you can order them on the David's website. $47 for the cookie dough oatmeal raisin. All right. There we go. I like it, bro. I can make my own. Fresh. Yeah, Jersey Mike's is losing some business now. They're losing some business. Yeah. Oh, you're going to eat 2 pounds of cookies? No, man, you keep them in the freezer and you take them out periodically. You know what I'm saying? Like I told you, I eat one a day. So I will eat one of those a day. What? You guys what?
2 pounds would last at least 2 days with me.
At least, yeah, maybe 3. Maybe we can stretch it out to 3. All right, let's do it. It is time to unleash the Wolf Pack.
We unleash the Wolf Pack as we get the latest in the NFL and the Miami Dolphins with our KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL Network insider Cameron Wolf. KSDT is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370. Here's NFL insider Cameron Wolf.
There he is. How you feeling, my man? You feeling good?
I'm good. Oh, it is the weekend. I've got one more day of work and I can relax a little bit. So I'm feeling good.
I was explaining to people yesterday, and it's exactly what ended up happening, because a lot of people thought Gesicki would get a multi-year deal, and I said, nope, he's going to sign a one-year deal, because unfortunately what happened here the last 2 years ruined his resume, and it did not allow him to really showcase his skills. So I figured he would sign a one-year prove-it deal, and that's kind of what Gardner Minshew's doing. I wanted Gardner Minshew here, but Gardner Minshew went to a place where he knows he's going to play and have a chance to showcase his skills, because Gardner has the potential to be quarterback 25, 27, 29, 32 in the league, because that's kind of who he is. He's a back-end bad starter or maybe a really good backup for you, overall. And so he took a 1-year prove it type deal because he's going to get playing time in Indianapolis. So your thoughts on Gesicki moving on to the Patriots?
Yeah, I thought that you hit it pretty much on the money. Mike, one of the most puzzling moves last year for the Dolphins was franchise tagging Mike Gesicki because we knew that it wasn't a great fit. And clearly throughout the season, they didn't use him much at all. And so for him to get the deal that he wanted, he was going to have a better year. So what have you done for me lately, league? And so he actually got a decent number from the Patriots, up to $9 million. Not too far off from what he made from the franchise tag last year. But yeah, this is a big year for him to prove that he's worth a multi-year deal. Everybody else watched the Dolphins tape, and the main question they'll ask in the free agent meetings is, well, if Mike McDaniel couldn't use him, why would we? What was the issue there? What's the problem? And the problem is pretty clear. He can't block, and you have to use him as a big receiver within your scheme. And so it'll be interesting to see how Bill O'Brien and the Patriots use him. Clearly, they've seen him a bunch. Bill Belichick has. And so
Jonnu Smith couldn't block.
Huh?
Jonnu Smith isn't a blocker either.
Correct. Correct. And he immediately fills that role. And to me, they see it, hey, we can upgrade from Jonnu Smith to Mike Gesicki and pay similar money to what we were going to be paying Jonnu before. And so for them, it's an easy swap. You make it work. And I think he'll have an extra chip on his shoulder too. He plays the Dolphins 2 times a year, prove to Mike McDaniel and the Dolphins of what he can do on the field. And so I will say Mike Gesicki, I give him a lot of credit for how he handled it last year.
Super pro. God.
Bro.
Awesome.
I don't know if I would have handled it that way. It's my money year. Everybody knows the money year is the year you need to break out. And that was, unfortunately for him, probably his least productive year he's had since his rookie season because of their usage. And so I think that probably helped him in getting a deal with the Patriots too, knowing that he's not going to, whine or fuss if he doesn't get the ball 10 plus times a game. And so, yeah.
And one of the things I talked about yesterday with him, I told everybody he would probably sign a 1-year deal and a prove it type deal, but he has to make sure that he and his agent have to pick a spot where they're going to throw to the tight end.
Right.
And that's the
good big receiver. The big receiver.
Right. And that's the good thing about that offense. It's always been a very tight end heavy offense.
Yes.
From the Ben Coates days all the way.
They run 2 tight end sets a lot too.
Yes. So they kept Hunter Henry. So Hunter will be more of the inline guy. And then
Mike
this guy
can be the big receiver.
He'll play the Aaron Hernandez role.
Yep.
They had Gronk inside, and they would put Hernandez, more wide out because Hernandez was a hell of an athlete, besides being a murderer. But outside of that, with Gesicki, hopefully he'll get to murder it this year and pick up some big numbers.
Absolutely. Mike Gesicki is interesting because he had a love-hate relationship, I believe, with Dolphins fans. I think when he first got here, everybody was calling him a bust because he wasn't producing early on. And then he became beloved, during the Fitzpatrick era because of how much Ryan threw him the ball. And then this year, he was sort of the forgotten guy in the offense. So interesting, kind of tenure for him. But ultimately this past year, I know people were asking, hey, why can't you get him more involved? I think the Dolphins tried to make him into a lesser blocking version of George Kittle. And you just got to realize that he's not that guy. He's never going to be a great blocker in the NFL. And so you got to have an offense that's going to allow him to be that slot receiver. The Dolphins did not have that position open. They paid a lot of money to Cedric Wilson. They used Trent Sherfield a lot in that role. And so there was not a lot of room for him to be that big receiver. And when you have him as a true tight end, he's either going to have to block or you're going to know that they're going to be passing the ball when he's in the game. And so it sort of limits your offense in that respect. So definitely interested to see how creative the Patriots are in their usage of him. And I guarantee you, if he scores a touchdown, I feel pretty good that he's going to break out that gritty that they got a lot of chuckles here down the season, if you can even call it a gritty, whatever that his version of it is.
Yeah, well, Brandon Jones already said no gritties when they play. So, Brandon already reached out there and said, nah, we got to cut that out there. Listen, and Mac Jones is he's not aggressive by nature. Yeah. I've watched him play, and he's conservative by nature, and he will be a check down Charlie at times, and he will and high percentage passes are running backs and tight ends. So I think he and his agent made the right decision there. I tell Dolphins fans, I don't fear the Patriots.
Yeah.
So to me, I wish him the best. I don't think the Patriots are in the mix in this division at all. I think it's the Bills and the Dolphins, challenging for this division. I know they're going to get Aaron Rodgers over in New York and all that, but I think it's still Miami and the Bills right now in my eyes, the way I look at it. But I don't even think of the Patriots right now in this mix, no matter what. So I don't see it like something that's going to really burn Miami overall.
Yeah, you never know with Bill Belichick, but it's funny. I was talking with the coach, and I mentioned this on NFL Network earlier this week. Who I was talking with a coach who's not in this division, and we were talking about the AFC East and Rodgers and Ramsey and all these different moves. And he said, "When's the last time the Patriots were like the clear worst team in the division?" And I had to think about it, and I'm like, probably like the 20th century, like probably like 1990 something, before Brady for sure. That they were clear fourth team. And I think that's the case now. They have the clear fourth quarterback in the division. They have the clear fourth team in the division. And, the coach is maybe an equalizer that helps them figure out a way to not be in the cellar. But right now, it does seem to me it's a hard case for you to put the Patriots above any of the other three teams. And so the Bills are still going to have to be at the top until somebody dethrones them. They have not done a lot this offseason. They did bring back Jordan Poyer. They get Von Miller back, and they get Micah Hyde healthy. And so everybody's playing catch up to them. And so for me, it's still hard to put anybody for sure over the Bills until they beat them. But the Dolphins and Jets are closing. I think the Dolphins are second last year. They got much better, particularly on defense this year. And so I think that's going to help them a lot in those matchups that count down the stretch. And don't count out the Jets. I know you think they're not in that mix, but if Rodgers is that guy that he had been his previous 2 years, not last year, but the previous 2 years before with a new scheme, then that defense is ferocious. The Jets defense with Sauce Gardner.
It's good defense, man.
Boys, they're
really
ferocious. Good. And they literally had probably the worst, if not the worst, definitely bottom two or three quarterback situations in the NFL last year, trying to battle between Zach Wilson and Mike White. And so that quarterback,
I just think it's going to be a disaster, bro.
You think Aaron Rodgers and the Jets are going to be a disaster?
A total disaster.
It could go that way. It's only going to go one or two ways. With Aaron Rodgers, it's either going to be the biggest explosion disaster we've seen in some time, like worse than Russell Wilson in Denver year one blow up, or he's going to return to the MVP level and pull a Tom Brady and revive his career essentially for one last burst, for a 2-year burst. And so those are the two routes. There's no middle ground. They either become a Super Bowl contender immediately or explodes.
When I heard him say on McAfee's show that going into the retreat, I was 90% retiring, 10% playing, that's it. It's over. You don't go 90% retiring and then all of a sudden you're going to go gung-ho and you're going to go play NFL football and the requirements it takes and the pressure that's going to be in New York and the demand and all that stuff. And you're going to have to deal with that media and all that. I think it was, I forgot which one of you guys said it. I think it was Poupart that said it. He's that guy that thinks that, oh, well, others struggle with the New York media. Well, I'm smart enough. I'll be able to handle those guys. And I think he's that guy. And he's going to get a rude awakening in that place when he says something stupid or wacky or out of, off the rail stuff. In Green Bay, there's 6 people there. There's Rob Domofsky and like 3 other people there. There's nobody there in Green Bay. When he's there in New York and there's 150 mics in his face,
yeah,
and he is getting mobbed from all over the place. And if he says anything stupid, it's going to be on the Post. It's going to be on page 6. It's going to be all over the place. This is a different monster, bro. And if you don't go in there with blinders and focused, that place will eat you up alive, bro.
Absolutely.
New York is not the normal place for every athlete. I'm sorry.
Right.
It's just not.
It's a different animal. And the reality of it is, because Rodgers is who he is, he's going to say whatever's on his mind. He believes he's the boss of everyone. There is a very big possibility that if things don't go well, there's going to be huge spats in the media and Rodgers won't back down. And so it could get really messy very quickly. And so, like I said, it's going to be either boom or bust here. But I will say there is the possibility of it being boom. And if it is boom, then that makes the AFC East an animal division. Like I know last year, and I don't want to mention it last year, but last year the AFC West was supposed to be this juggernaut division, right? You got obviously Patrick Mahomes with the Chiefs. This was supposed to be the year for the Chargers and Justin Herbert, like it seemingly is every year. Then there was the Raiders coming in with a new regime, and then it was the Broncos and Russell Wilson. It was supposed to be the division, and it just did not work out this way. The AFC East is shaping up to be the division of this year coming up. No more competitive division. Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, potentially, whenever that gets done. Tua, and then you got the Patriots, which there's a big gap to me between them and the rest. But they have Bill Belichick, which you never can count that dude out.
No, I'm with you there. All right, what's your grade overall for the Dolphins through free agency so far, through the first phase of the offseason? Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, I think they're one of the, winners of free agency. I probably give them a B plus. Maybe you can go to A minus if you're grading a little less harsh than I am. But I think I love the Jalen Ramsey move. I think it was a perfect replacement of Byron Jones. I think he's going to help.
That's an upgrade from Byron Jones.
Yes, absolutely. An upgrade, but really, really a perfect replacement too, because the thing about it, and I know you're not a huge Xavier Howard fan, but I think it's going to help Xavier Howard a ton, because the reality is he did not have a good season last year. A lot of it was the injuries. He had the groin injuries that limited him a bunch. He had some other issues he was working through, but now
I've already predicted you're going to see a great year from X, because
exactly.
X will get released at the end of the year, and he knows, and his agent knows, that this is the window when he's going to get released. So in order to convince the Dolphins that wants to stay, you're going to have an elite year. And because you know that you're facing release, well, I'm going to have a great year, because if the Dolphins don't want me back, then somebody else needs to want me. Well, I got to play like people want me. And then you've got Jalen Ramsey on the other side.
Yeah.
So then that's going to show you up too at the same time. I think I'm expecting X to have a great year. Last year wasn't his fault. He had injuries. Whatever, I don't know what the hell was wrong with him, growing or whatever. Nobody's going to tell me that was that dude. I get more pissed off with the other stuff from X. Every year, the money stuff, the off the field stuff, all that crap. And this year was obviously he didn't play up to snuff. But next year, this coming season, he has all the motivation in the world. He has to have a great year.
Yep.
He has no choice but to have a great year. So the Dolphins are going to win no matter what. They're on that one.
Absolutely. And the other thing there, just kind of on the Jalen Ramsey and just kind of for Dolphins fans, I think Barry Jackson reported that
River Craycraft
is re-signing there. But the one thing on the Jalen Ramsey and X thing, like, it's dope to see your top two corners like really vibe the way they have initially.
Yeah.
Like, they're hanging out at the Heat game. X is taking them around the tour of the facility. They've been friends since college. And I think that translates on the field. That gives you a different competitiveness because you want to run up your buddy. I never thought the Byron Jones X relationship got off on a great foot, because immediately Byron gets here and X wants more money than Byron. And that's his whole focus. And so I think he probably has a different respect for Jalen. Of Jalen being, hey, Jalen's actually one of the top 3 corners in football over the last 5-6 years. I don't know if he ever really truly considered Byron at his level.
His equal. No, he never looked at him as equal.
That matters. And so you can tell that they truly respect each other. And the other element is X is not going to have to travel all the time because Jalen's there now, which will save his legs. All that motion that teams do, that was killing X. They would run the motion and have him run all over the formation, and he would be out of sorts by the time the ball was snapped. And so that limits him in that respect. And also teams are going to have to throw at him a lot more because Jalen's going to be on one side. And remember, he got a lot of those interceptions when teams were forced into their second read throwing to X, during that run there. And so I think that this could be a great year for him and Jalen together. And like you said, X definitely knows his guarantees end after this year, and that means you got a lot to prove.
Yeah, no, he's motivated this year. He has no choice. So that's going to be absolutely awesome. And by the way, you got to admit, all right, admit it. Be honest now. Tell me that 2.5 minute interview with Jalen and X walking around the building. Tell me you weren't pissed off going, how come we don't get that X in a press conference?
Yeah. X opens up when he wants to open up.
Oh, he's with one of his boys. He's super colorful.
Yeah.
He's with the media, 1-2 word answers. It's like dry. It's like, well, I'm watching that video and I'm going, dude, he's got personality.
Right.
He's like having fun. He's smiling. Oh, what the hell? We're gonna have to get Jalen. We're gonna have to get Jalen Ramsey to ask the questions for us.
Yep. Gonna have to. He said he's the evil twin, and so I can already picture it. X has a big game. You get Jalen on side of him translating his responses. X says, "Hey, I just made a play, break the ball." Jalen says, "I'm that man. That's why I do this." You get that version of him to get the quotes you need, and just say it came from Howard.
Right. No, or just he'll stand next to X and say the things that X should say, and that's all. That's it. Just might as well just that'll carry. What was that? Was it Mike Wallace and there was another receiver next to him for the Dolphins a few years back that he. Or no, wasn't Mike Wallace. It was somebody else that somebody stayed quiet and then somebody else talked for him. And then they ended up cutting that dude. But I forgot that scenario a few years back with the Dolphins. Maybe I'll remember when I'm driving home. But anyway, I love what the Dolphins have done so far, man. I think they've filled a lot of needs.
They did.
You know what I'm saying?
The last thing left for me, I'd love to see them go get another a really solid right tackle. They signed Dan Feeney. I think I told you guys on the show they've been looking for offensive line depth and competition upgrades. They signed Dan Feeney, who doesn't move the needle a lot for fans, but he's gonna come in and compete at left guard,
guy,
be a backup swing guy at guard and center. That's probably your preferred role, that he's your backup guard or center. And so he's going to be their quote unquote competition for Liam Eichenberg. But I'd love to see them bring in a right tackle, somebody to push Austin Jackson, particularly.
I'd like to see Brandon Shell come back, bro.
Yeah, potentially Brandon Shell. Potentially, someone else. I saw Barry mention some connections for George Fant. He would be a guy that would make a lot of sense. And so, we'll see. But to me, that would be one move I would definitely like to see. And then maybe another linebacker as well, because like I mentioned, David Long's a good addition, but I would want to have a little bit more depth there, because of his injury history as well. And so, those would be the two positions that I would be looking at to try to get a little bit more help there. But otherwise, they've had a pretty strong free agency so far.
Yeah, I think they've done an excellent job. I think they're going to draft a tight end with that second or third round pick.
Yeah. So they signed the guy Eric Saulbert as our reporter yesterday, and so he'll be a good addition for them particularly as a run blocker. He'll kind of compete in those roles, and so him and Durham Smythe will probably compete with some of those reps there. And then if you draft a tight end somewhere, second, third, fourth round, he comes in, and then you've got maybe a three-way tight end room between those three guys, and add Tanner Connor in there, maybe it's four guys. And so maybe not a true big name guy like Mike Gesicki, but you got three or four guys you can kind of rotate in there and do what you need to do within the offense.
Oh, and by the way, Tucker Kraft is the guy I want.
Tucker Kraft? Oh, from South Dakota State.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. He's a good. It's funny. South Dakota State had another tight end. I'm pretty sure. Dallas Goedert. Wasn't Dallas Goedert from South Dakota State the same year? Same year that Mike Gesicki came out.
And you know what? I wanted Goddard over Gesicki.
Yeah.
So but whatever. It is what it is. But I'm a big Tucker Kraft fan, dude.
Yeah,
I think he fits what they do here perfectly. He can block, and he can definitely pass catch.
Yep. Dallas Goedert did go to South Dakota State, so I don't know if he's as good of a prospect as Dallas Goedert was coming out, because Dallas Goedert went second round. But this is a great tight end class, and so whether it's Tucker Kraft, whether it's Darnell Washington, who's a beast,
I don't think he lasts to 51.
Darnell Washington. You're probably right.
I like him.
Yeah, but he's
him.
probably like early second round. Like probably
Yeah,
in the
I
30s.
think he goes right at the beginning of that second round. I think somebody scoops him up in that second day right away, and then I think my guy will last to that pick. I think
it's a decent chance. I think he will be available. It's whether or not he's a second round pick on your board, a third round pick.
Oh, he won't. He won't. I don't believe he lasts to the Dolphins' third round pick.
Okay,
and they don't have a fourth,
right?
And they don't have a fourth, so
they don't.
They gotta make their picks there. What I'm thinking, tight end there, and I'm also thinking tackle. That tackle that you want, that might be a young guy that they're targeting there, because that's kind of where those they're not surefire tackles. The surefire tackles usually fall in the first round. The guys, those front office guys think like, okay, this guy is going to play pretty soon. But once you get to that second and third round, usually that tackle has, some kind of wart, and you got to work on it a little bit because it's a little bit of a project. I could see the Dolphins looking for a tackle in that area. Tight end, tackle, strong safety.
Yep.
Also is another thing that goes in that second, third round. Linebacker.
Yep.
Which is something they can still go for. Is there something else you see in that second, third round that they would select?
So I usually like to go to draft with not having to fill a certain need. You can take a little bit more BPA, but yeah, I mean, tight end would make a lot of sense to me when one of those picks. Even and this may be a little surprise for some people, even like a cornerback, because even though they got a Jalen Ramsey and a Xavier Howard, and they re-signed Nick Needham there, a lot of these guys are either coming off injuries or they're a little bit on the older side of things. So you need a younger guy to start developing in there. So you got Cater Kohu, but maybe somewhere you find somebody that can be your potential long-term starter that you can draft maybe in the third round, maybe in the fifth round. But cornerback would be something that wouldn't shock me either. And I think they still need some edge rush help. You've got Jalen Phillips, you've got Bradley Chubb and Emmanuel Ogbah down the line, but I think they need a little bit more depth, especially if Van Ginkel doesn't come back. Ingram's still a free agent right now, Melvin Ingram. And so I would love to see them draft another edge rusher as well.
With you there. All right. What do you what do you think happens with the Aaron Rodgers thing?
I think he eventually does become a Jet, but the question is when. I mean, clearly the Packers want more compensation right now. It's really a game of chicken. The Packers have until September 1st when Aaron Rodgers' deal actually guarantees. And so they could technically play hardball and say it impacts the Jets more than it impacts them.
It does.
And so they could hold out to continue to get what they truly want. And so that seems to be why there's some hold up here. And so I don't know who budges and when, but I do think eventually Aaron Rodgers is a Jet.
Yeah, I think the Jets will budge, and they have to, because in the end, what are you going to do, bro? Mini camp start, and then he's not there.
Yep.
Then training camp starts, he's not there. Then he's not there for the preseason, and then what do you think? He's just going to pop in, and then everything's just going to start? No, dude, that'll be a disaster.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And if it drags on into training camp, I wonder how Aaron's going to respond to all of this.
Yeah. Well, Aaron doesn't want to go to OTAs anyway, so it might actually work out to Aaron's favor. Aaron has never been a big voluntary workout.
Yeah, but if you're going to a new team with
correct,
even though it's Nathaniel Hackett's system, which he knows, you're still going to play under a new center. You're playing with new running backs. You're playing with new receivers and a tight end. You got to get a feel for all that shit.
Right.
And you're not going to play in the preseason. So you need as many mini camp throws and training camp really to kind of get in a groove, because the preseason, you're going to play like a handful of snaps in one game.
Yep.
And that's it. They're not going to risk much more than that. So to me, the Jets are the ones that are going to end up folding, because it means so much more to them, overall.
Right.
So I don't know. I think they will end up folding when it's all said and done. What do you think?
I do think that they are the ones that have to bend. And so I don't know what the picks are, if they're asking for an extra third round pick or what. I'm guessing there's some sort of first or second round pick already involved in there. And so I do think that eventually the Jets will have to budge, because, they have to. Like, They got to figure out the rest of their program. They've got to build their team around Aaron Rodgers. And so they've already started with Allen Lazard, but you can't really do everything until it's finalized. And so I do think the Jets budge because they are the team that needs him more than anyone else.
Yep, there you go. All right. By the way, one guy says, imagine Green Bay tries to force the New York Jets to trade them Brees.
Yeah.
Ooh, doggy.
Yeah, that would be something because Brees Hall, I'm telling you, man, that's why I said the Jets may not be the sexy pick, but I look at what they got coming back with Garrett Wilson. They just signed Allen Lazard. They have Brees Hall that should be healthy. Elijah Moore with a new quarterback. That's just on offense. And then on defense, you've got a top 5 group. That team on paper is supposed to be special, but this is why this time's important because you got to build that chemistry. And it's not built on paper. And so every day that ticks away, especially as we get closer to like the April offseason program, I think it becomes more and more imperative for the Jets to make that move, even for the draft too. You go into the draft, you got to figure out, for sure what I do. If I don't, especially if there's picks involved, this would seemingly have to get done before the draft so that those picks can be used by the Jets. By the Packers. So
I'm with you there. What do you got going on the NFL Network so folks can check you out, my friend?
Yeah, I'm actually about to hop on NFL Network in about 20 minutes, actually. So our show just started right now. And so you already see me with the dress shoot. I got my suit here, my tie. And so I'll pop off with you, throw on my tie and jacket, and then pop on with them. So I'll be on from 1 to 3 today, talking a little NFL and Dolphins ball.
There you go. Follow him on Twitter at Cameron Wolf and catch him in just a couple of minutes there on the NFL Network. Cam, as always, thank you, my man. Have a great weekend. We'll catch up next week.
You too. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you, sir. There you go. Cameron Wolf. Good stuff as always. Brees might not be the same player after tearing his... Yeah, he'll be fine. I'm not worried about that. Knee injuries or... Unless you, tore up the cartilage, it's not a... I get it. You're a Dolphins fan, so you want to put doubt into anything Jets and all that kind of crap, and you're playing the fan thing. You come back from knee injuries nowadays. It's unless you really tore up the cartilage, that's where you really will have, your real trouble. If you tore up the cartilage, that's the bad news, ladies and gentlemen. That's where it won't work.
Your boy's a little happier today.
Who's that?
Kader Kohu.
Why is that?
The NFL, I guess, released the top
25
earners in the NFL's annual performance-based pay.
Yes, he got a big bonus for that.
$706,000. He was number 14 in the NFL.
Yeah.
And the second undrafted free agent out of 4 in the top 25.
Right. Yeah. He's undrafted, bro. Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing. Undrafted and ended up becoming a starter. He's so awesome. By the way, Kader Kohu will join us on Monday. Okay? Don't know exact time yet. You may want to, follow us on Twitter at Big O Show. I'll announce it. I'm going to speak with them this afternoon and set that up for Monday to get the exact time. So Kader Kohu will be joining us Monday afternoon on the phone, by the way. Okay, we'll be at the youth fair just in case, because one of our listeners yesterday thought that I was saying that Kader Kohu is going to join us on the show live over at the youth fair. No. He'll be like you see with Cam and everybody else. It'll be, on video. Okay, but Kader Kohu, Dolphin Corner, will be joining us on the show on Monday. Okay, and Knight, thank you for the super chat. Very nice of you. Would be funny if they asked for Brees Hall. That would be like, holy crap. They were, really? You want Brees Hall? That would. I wonder if that would end the trade. If they were like, nah, we're not giving up Brees Hall. So it's funny. All right. So where is Bitcoin at right now? Where are we? I don't want to say we're at 27. I doubt it. I'm sure it's like right under and trying to make its way up still. Still 26,496. So we'll see. 544 now. Here we go. Let's see if it gets to 27,000. It already hit 27,000 this morning. but it went right back down just under 27, and it's been in the 26 area. So there you go for those of you that follow the market like I do. It's amazing. And by the way, the amazing part is that we're watching crypto and Bitcoin decouple from the market, because normally, I tell you guys all the time, normally you're thinking, okay, well, the S&P and the Dow and the Nasdaq go with crypto. If it's flowing, that's flowing. Well, we've had a lot of red lately with crypto and with the stocks going on and a lot of the banking, and we're watching crypto fly. So there's a real decoupling of crypto from the market right now, which I never thought so, because I didn't think we had enough liquidity in crypto yet to decouple from the stock market. I thought we would flow with if the stock market's going down, then crypto will go down. If the stock market's climbing, then crypto climbs. You know what I mean? But Bitcoin and crypto have been climbing the last couple of days, and the stocks have been going down the last couple of days. Crazy stuff, man. So impressive, by the way. Very impressive. All right, we are out of here. We thank Manny Navarro. We thank Cameron Wolf. We thank Larry Schlossberg, of course, for making it happen for us here, as always. We thank all the great people out here at Craig Zinn's Acura Pembroke Pines. We thank all of you for tuning in and supporting us here on the program. If you sent in a super chat, thank you. Remember, whether you're listening on the podcast day or night, you can always make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show, and you can always donate a little Bitcoin there too at the same time. Appreciate all of you out there. We will see you on Monday afternoon, 2 to 5. We'll be live at the Youth Fair. We hope to see you all there at the Youth Fair. You all be good out there and be safe. Have a great weekend. Go Dolphins, go Canes, go Inter Miami, go Panthers, go Heat, go Marlins. Win a damn spring training game. See you later.